You're watching Suckprofessor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by...
James
Keziah. Hello, buddy.
Hello.
Welcome to Taboo Episode 7, Season 1, starring Tom Hardy. Wow, what an episode. James, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was a good one.
I had fun watching it with you.
Yay.
So let's get to... Shut up, James. I'm doing the intro part here. So everybody, spoilers. We're going to go through lots of details here with our shot-by-shot recap. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Now let's quit the bullshit and get on with the goddamn review. Ready, James?
Let's do it.
Here we go. All right, opening shot is, so sort of one of those water. We're sort of back in the kind of dream sequence. We've seen this sort of setting a lot of times. And then it's him. He's looking out somewhere. He's staring out the window. This is like one of those top floors.
Right. So the person in the prior shot was Salish's mother.
His
who
mother.
is dressed up in her Nuka tribal adornment, which we recognize as being like a bird feather, crow feather type dress.
With all kinds of crazy shit on her face.
Yeah, and every time I see him staring out the window and kind of communing with these visions, I always got the impression that he was talking to her, because we found out that he did speak to her with his mythical ways to find out that she was put into an insane asylum at Bethlem.
Yeah.
So he knew about this without Bryce even having to tell him in a prior episode.
Oh, okay.
So when I see this, it makes me think, okay, he's currently talking to her, or he's got some sort of mental connection with her at the moment.
Yeah. Do you think she's connecting with a living or a spirit that's sort of in our current time, or he just sort of taps into the blended time of everything?
That one.
None of it makes sense. Let's keep going. Yeah, there you go. There's some feathery stuff. She's doing her Jon Snow impersonation there. Boom, he's there. He's lost in thought. Bryce comes in. Old, good, skinny Bryan Cranston. And he's coming in. He's like, "What's up? What are you doing? Staring into your head. I always see you here." And they kind of this leads into sort of a tense interaction.
Yeah. So the whole point about this scene is that James accuses his father of killing his mother for convenience.
Yeah.
And Bryce immediately kind of takes offense to that. He says, "Well, you said he."
You don't know everything.
No. You just mentioned like the whole Crow, Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Says a line.
What about what?
You know nothing.
Oh yeah, you know nothing, Jon Snow. Yeah,
yes,
I didn't say that. Did I? You guys, we have some great times watching these shows. Too bad y'all can't be on the couch with us. But then we wouldn't be able to hold hands, James, because there'd be a million people between.
Yeah,
okay.
you can see on the back wall in that shot right there, Bryce has started to write TGIF.
Yeah,
it's finally the weekend.
He's actually the founder of TGIF. That's what this whole show is about. Next episode of the finale is just going to be him opening up a restaurant with a bunch of kitsch on the walls, and then a bunch of Midwesterners having divorces at the dinner table. So
so Bryce drops a bombshell.
I got a lot of this, so I think I got most of the story in screenshots. I usually don't take screenshots for every sentence. I try not to, borrow the whole show. But so they ended up having this kind of, he says, "Mom, it's time you know about your mother." So Bryce has been here longer. Bryce was alive before John. Or what, John? Jeez, James, look what you did to me. He's alive before Samwise Gamgee. No, that wasn't funny at all. But he corrects him. He goes on. He says, so she goes, she took you down to the river to drown you, carried you across the foreshore, a tiny baby in her arms, innocent and sweet. She waded in, held you under till the bubbles stopped. Whoa, and babies don't have a lot of bubbles, James, but still, it's still fucked up. Oh no, James, look there. She waded in, held you. Oh, I got that. That's because they're flashing in and out of stuff.
No, he said it twice.
He didn't repeat it. Yeah,
it was an echo.
But God, I keep thinking James Keziah says he just looks at him, just listening. She was deranged, James. So he says like coming to the defense of his father in a little bit, saying like, no, look, he there's more going on here than you ever understood. That's why your father had committed to Bedlam, to protect you, to save your life, son. Desperate for your death, it took 3 men to pull you apart and drag from the river, howling and screaming. There it is again. Be very, very careful now. That's James saying that. Be very, very careful now. Basically saying, watch your mouth.
Yeah,
bitch.
he adores his mother.
Yeah.
And as I said before, I think he does communicate with her, but now that this new information is coming to light, I think he's starting to question, what haven't you told me?
Yeah. From her.
Yeah.
What haven't you...
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Because from her perspective, if it is in fact true that she and he had been communicating, she told him that the father was a monster and put her in an insane asylum out of convenience.
Yeah.
But the true story is that he did it to protect his own son.
Yeah.
Because he caught her trying to murder him.
Not that locking up a woman who's mentally ill is always the right answer to insanity, back in this time, and she tried to kill a baby.
This was before Obamacare.
But she tried to kill a baby. That's obviously something that you should intervene with and not allow, and then probably punish or something.
I have a feeling that like a baby James Hardy is a match for an adult.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, Baby James Hart. What? I don't
It's
know.
like the Flintstones, Bam Bam. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's James Hardy.
Hey, everybody, I don't know what the fuck James is talking
He's
about.
a strong baby.
Oh, a strong baby. James, were you a strong baby?
No. I'm about the same strength now as I was as a baby.
You seem like you'd be one of those babies that had like his heart on the outside, and then they had to like put it back in there.
No, they just cut it off.
Move it. That explains why you're always taking Apple IIgs pills. What does that even mean? You're an old computer is what I'm trying. Okay, so back at the house, there he is dressed up in his cool gear. I love his hat. I can't get enough of that hat. Brace is kind of looking at him. They're not feeling real good. This is not a good way to start the day. I don't like starting days being told that my mom tried to kill me.
And they go out into the warm, sunny British weather.
Yeah, this beautiful day here. This is considered Acapulco as far as British goes.
So he's going to Bedlam.
Yeah, this is Bethlem.
Bedlam.
Bethlem. You want to argue with me?
I think there in one episode there were two contradictory things. There were the one place was called Bedlam, and there was another thing called Bethlem.
Well, let me introduce.
There's a sign, right?
Yeah, there's a sign. Okay, fuck face. I was going to reach into my pocket and pull out a bird, which is another sign.
You
flicked
could
off.
Very easily be right.
I just flicked off James. Bethlem. Beth.
Uh,
I went out with a girl named Beth once, and we didn't get into the bed, unfortunately. Yeah, see, there you go.
But I think it said Bedlam on the side of the carriage.
Yeah.
In the prior episode.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Is Bedlam a bastardization or a version of Bethlem, or is
I
Bedlam?
don't know.
I always took Bedlam to be like when you throw a fart bomb into a clown factory, and everybody runs around crazy, like Bedlam. Oh, it's crazy, it's madness. People, it turned into Bedlam. I told a okay.
Wait, so you don't get my Bam Bam joke, but you throw that one out there.
How dare you?
What the heck was that? a fart bomb in a clown factory?
Fart bomb in a clown factory is way better than strong baby. All right,
Okay.
You all bam bam you. All right, so but they buried him. This is back when they buried people who and so she there's Anna Delaney.
Yeah, it was actually her coffin standing up. She was very tiny.
That's her tongue. What does that even mean?
It's the
sad.
top of a giant popsicle stick.
I think no matter how you describe it, though, her life sounds pretty awful. Like,
Well, yeah, she was bought for beads by a man from England.
Yeah.
Torn from the Nooka tribe, carried over to England.
Forced to
tried to convert to like a debutante or something. Yeah.
Lifestyle. Yeah.
Refused. Was probably, against her will, forced to have a child, which turned out to be him.
Yeah.
Which she tried to kill. Probably out of rage against the husband, or for other reasons, I'm sure.
Mental, something.
I knew that perhaps he was going to have powers or something like that, or his life would be terrible. We don't know yet.
But the good news is she had a very handsome son.
Yeah.
Okay, so then she's in this place. I didn't know what this means. Mens Dana in corpora sanc. Corpora. We can obviously Google that.
No,
but
that's this men's warehouse. You're going to love the way you look. I guarantee it. That's what it means.
Well done. That's funny. We're not going to Google it. Someone can Google it. Let us know in the comments what that means. Probably something about sanity, body. Corpora is like a body. That's what that means. Corporeal. Yes. Sunk could mean sunk you very much. Mm-hmm. All right. So, but he enters this house of horrors here. This is an old. I mean, I haven't been in a modern insane asylum not in a while, James. No, but they're scary places. There's there's sort of one of humanity's wounds, and not. It's just like there's just a lot of heartache in most places with mental illness and stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like he has a connection to the
hold on,
afterworld,
let me just finish my thought. I don't want to just but in the past, especially though, the facilities where they dealt with people with mental illness, we barely have an understanding nowadays. Is my point. Let alone way back then when the treatments were horrible. And the way they approached it was fucking brutal and awful. So anyway, these are scary places, especially these weird sheets and shit hung up all over the place. So anyway, go ahead, James.
So when he hears the disembodied voices or the screams and things, do you get the impression that that's just there for atmosphere? Or is he actually hearing that because he has a much thinner veil between the two worlds than other people? Because he's got the powers that he uses to speak to his deceased father, well, not when his father was alive, presumably to his deceased mother.
I guess probably the veil is thinner would be my guess. What do you think?
Oh, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be just weird if they just like played random screaming and crying or whatever.
Yeah, he's got a Walkman on. This is Halloween mixtape.
yeah. The Walkman says "Little Girl Singing in the Woods." So yeah, I think he's kind of tapping into the energy of the place. He's kind of he's more grounded. That's a big theme in the show too. Is like even though the Egyptian hoi polloi is that I don't know if that's the right word. The fancy pants people, they look down on him and they call him African. They disparage his past and where he was, and then they but he's actually more grounded, more connected to the earth and to the spirits or whatever else. But that's what makes him such an outsider. So
And why do you think he went there? Because he just heard something about his mother that made him pity her more but question her at the same time. So he went there to kind of get a better idea of, what she was going through, to try and rekindle his affection for her.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he wouldn't have gone had he not had that confrontation with, what's-his-face, with skinny Bryan Cranston.
You think he was just looking for more for sweet makeup?
Sweet makeup.
He loves that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure. What do you think? Your theories were pretty good.
Makeup.
Let's move on. Makeup. Horse with the big white butt. So he's riding off. I said driving. He's riding off. Clop, 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 clop. Moonlight. Love it. Gotta love the moon. Anybody who doesn't like the moon is fucking crazy in my book. So there he goes. He's at the docks. That's right. He's doing. They never showed what he was up to. But Winter, we see her right here. She sort of comes up. She's intrigued by him. She seems to be kind of like like a friendly wild dog.
Yeah, she keeps showing up in his house and
It
around.
sounded bad. I just mean like she's sort of drawn to him.
Yeah, she wants him to teach her magic.
Yeah.
She thinks he's going to take her to America.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, she's got a rough life. She's just living as a spy in a hooker house.
Yeah, she's like a female Oliver Twist.
Yeah, there you go.
Dark Dodger.
Yeah. Right. And so, but he tells her to leave, and she's like, people keep saying this about you. They call you the African devil. It's all fucked up.
Yeah, she says, I'm not afraid of you, but I am afraid of the people, of the person that the people say you are, the African devil.
Right. Which he responds to. And by the way, this is a good move. If someone says, hey, there's a rumor that you're dangerous, don't say, no, I'm not. I'm not dangerous. Here, I'll show you. He gets up and he takes his time and he looks at her and he starts speaking a different language.
What is Ashanti?
I'm assuming some African language, would be my guess.
It sounds very terrifying.
Well, yeah.
When he says it, I'm sure he can make any language sound terrifying.
Of course. Yeah, no, the way, it's like, whoa, buddy. And then she actually gets scared. She's like, stop, you're scaring me.
I guess it would be a little bit less boating. Parlez-vous français, s'il vous plaît?
Ixnay on the African Evil Day. Fuck. I mean, frickin' how do you do African in Pig Latin?
I don't know Pig Latin.
I
took real Latin, and I don't remember it either.
Frickin' AA. You took Latin?
Yeah, 2 years of it.
That explains why you're so articulate.
You know why I know so little of it?
No.
Because we learned it via satellite that was connecting in a giant satellite dish outside of our school, and our school was very poor. And a storm hit in the first week of class, and satellite dish went out. And they couldn't afford to get it repaired, so they got it repaired a week before the end of the school year. So we went from hearing Latin for 1 week to having to take the final exam.
What did you do during the weeks where you had no dish?
It was pretty much two things. We did use it as a study hall, and we hoped that it would come back online. But to save money, there was a lack of space, so they brought in the tiny room that we were in, they used it for in-school suspension as well as for Latin.
Oh, wow.
So there were brief moments where the signal did come back and we could see a class, but we couldn't hear anything because the people in in-school suspension were going off, and the other side of the room, they were doing the same thing for a Japanese class.
So you guys had a Japanese class?
Yeah, it was over satellite. So it was a mixture of Latin, Japanese, and screaming and fighting.
Why wouldn't they make the kids shut the fuck up?
Because there was no one hired to do that. There was no teacher.
Wow. Great no teacher for the...
She was on the satellite.
Oh, so no adult in the room?
No adult.
Wow.
It was horrible.
No wonder America's filled with so many fucking idiots. Yeah. Not that sounded insulting to you. I just mean we could treat our education system with a little more priority. Is all I mean. All right, so Helga loves you. You're safe there. Oh, yeah, he's like, get out of here. Go, I'm doing some weird shit by the water, you little girl. Go back home. Go to your mom. Helga's his mom. Her mom, I mean.
Yeah.
Right. So anything else?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
I want to say too, James takes amazing notes. He's got this long iPad list. You should hear him typing during the show. He's working hard for this show. That's what I'm trying to say, James. All right, back at the factory. This is the old water wheel.
Water wheel, yeah.
Whatever they do there, probably something with grain maybe, but they turned into a gunpowder
Yeah, I mean, the
factory.
water wheel was where the farmer was.
Yeah.
And I think the factory itself is a little further beyond that. I don't think... Well, actually, it is the same... Is it the same building?
I don't know if it's... I mean, there's a couple of... They're sort of connected.
I got an impression it was near it, but it was disconnected, separate from that main building.
I don't think...
Maybe I'm wrong, though.
It's not a detail that really matters too much.
No.
I mean, it's the same complex of a couple of buildings.
Yeah, you usually see the man, his name was like Ibbotson or Ibbotson?
No S's, I don't think. Ibbotin,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So he's the old man that was basically the ward of Robert, who's the young child that we recently found out was not the son of Delaney's father, but actually the son of Delaney himself.
And his...
sister.
Lovely sister. Half-sister. All right.
Well, we don't know that for a fact, but who else could it be?
Oh, she's not his half sister.
Well, no, we know that, but we don't know for a fact that the child is the product of he and his
Right.
sister.
Had not been confirmed.
It's fairly obvious, but it has not been addressed directly.
Yeah. They would have made an issue about him banging some other chick if it was like a different mom. But yeah, you're right. It's not confirmed. So, yeah, remember he killed the guy right here on this block. Or
Right, left the body right there.
What if it was still there? What if the guy was still there, just bleeding out?
Oh, that's where he gutted him. Yeah.
Yeah, he gutted him right there.
No stains.
No stains at all.
Very good cleaning job.
Well, gut blood is bad for weeds and dandelions.
It'd be great if as the wheel turned, the body was just on the wheel, just kept flopping over,
like a piece of beef jerky in a microwave.
Yeah, the intestines were all wound around.
Yeah. All right, so this guy now remember with the whole thing with chlorate, where they have to do a rush order on this batch of gunpowder they're making.
They need it in 8 days.
Yeah, right, to trade with the Americans, for his deal with the Americans. And so this guy's basically given, this is what's his name, Chumley. Oh yeah, but it's pronounced Chumley, and he's saying this stuff is crazy. It'll blow everybody the fuck up. So he's giving, this is, the workplace, hey everybody, be safe, this is extra danger, you're gonna be in trouble here if you fuck this up.
And remember, the chlorate was the one, like you said, it allows you to produce gunpowder much faster, but it requires constant round-the-clock stirring in shifts.
Yeah.
And it was also the thing that Dumbarton mentioned when he said the French experiment. Mauritius was where the French tried to do that and blew the whole place to smithereens.
Yes. So he's basically comparing it to like getting a baby that needs a lot of attention. You can't look away, which by the way is not true. You can ignore a baby because guess what happens? They turn into an adult eventually, and then they leave you alone.
And if you shake them, they explode as well.
They do, yeah. And then you have to pretend that they have. Yeah, well, I don't want to spoil anything. So there he goes, and he's basically saying, all right, so here you go, boys. We got to stir. Never stop stirring, including you little tiny Tim. Robert, I know, but who's the classic poor English boy?
Tiny Tim.
Tim.
He plays the ukulele.
Yeah, isn't he a big weird singer?
Well, he died.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, James, just because somebody died doesn't mean we shouldn't celebrate their life.
He's not big anymore.
When you die, I'm gonna be sad for a few hours.
Oh.
I just hope I'm not the one that finds your body. Mm-hmm. That'll really fuck up my afternoon. Stir. So they get right to work and they start pouring, and this is not a happy workplace.
And for this shot, I wrote down in my notes, it looks like Chipotle black beans.
These are the kind of notes James is taking. I thought James was doing some intellectual analyzing over here.
I really want
not at all. This is
black or pinto.
This is the guacamole cost extra. Yeah, they asked me what kind of salsa. I want all the salsa. Yeah. Quit asking me which kind.
Here's my shoe.
I want all of them. Yeah, just put it in there and stir it, or else I'll blow up. I go into the bathroom. I have to ask permission, and then all they hear is just a man moaning for a couple hours till it closes. So back at the East India Trading Company, I didn't get the establishing shot, but that's the guy. That's Pettifer. They're talking about Chichester.
Yeah, so these are basically just Stuart Strange's goons who have been put in charge of working with the Africa desk to deal with
Chichester or
Kitchester.
Kitchester. They kind of pronounce it Kitchester. Who we like. He's a good dude. But these guys are just crapping on. I mean, they're racists. I mean, racism was like the normal. Like, there's no way these dudes were going to be like, everybody deserves respect. That's not them. This is all. Yeah. I mean, this is the early 1800s.
And I was a little confused by this part because the large guy is kind of bending over and sticking his rear into the fire.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Is he just trying to get warm, or I mean,
I would assume.
What is he doing?
I mean, if that was me, I would be trying to like launch a fart, see if it would catch on fire just for fun. But
they would have to cut to an establishing shot showing a fireball erupting out of the chimney.
Whoosh! Yeah, at the top. Like a bunch of crows. They just fly off. These are kind of cool fireplace thing here.
And why is there a crank on the fireplace?
To
the right.
Oh, there. That probably controls the flue.
Probably.
The flume or flue? I don't know. It's one of those two.
You can tell that's an expensive fireplace.
Yeah, you got two little, look at that, dude, like naked guys. They're the ones that tell time. I don't know what. But anyway, lots of money. It's a big, powerful company. Mr. Chichester, so he's introduced, and then they immediately smile.
Yeah, they're not happy that they there, though.
Yeah,
they call him derogatory things.
Yeah,
the thing they call him, I've never heard the phrase before, or the word before.
I didn't get it.
Blackamour.
Oh yeah, blackamour.
What is that a slur? Is that I don't know.
I don't know. I'm ignorant.
I think the word Moor being in it because back during Shakespearean time, they referred to the Moors as being people of darker complexion.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. It could be. I know Paramore, but isn't that like a?
That's a band.
A band, really?
Yeah, Paramore.
I thought paramour was like my paramour is like my lover, my
means
side
that,
piece.
It means that as well,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's also a band.
Band. I'd much rather listen to a paramour than a band. All right, yeah. Anyway, so we're not going to obsess about the racism stuff too much, but they don't like that they have to deal with this guy, and you know, he sort of tells him a joke and talking about, you know, and he's a good, charismatic fellow. He's just telling him.
We learned something about him too that I didn't know before. He's talking about all these like the Valley of the Kings and the Sphinx, and they say to him, "It's like you're a very well-traveled man."
Yeah.
And he says something to the effect of, "If only I had been able to see these wonders without the benefit of chains around my arms and ankles," or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was a slave.
Before we get to that, this is where he was talking about the Sphinx being built by people that weren't white.
Yeah.
And these guys are like, yeah, well, I am genetic perfection.
Yeah, because I mean he's very much.
He looks like a frog trying to mate.
He does.
So do I.
But he's smart enough to know that these two buffoons are looking down at him as a lesser person.
Oh, he knows that. Yeah.
So he's just trying to say, you know what, we're not, you know, I am not below you.
Yes.
And here is
Yes.
many reasons
I'm
why.
really looking forward to the time when humanity's done with this fucking racism shit. It's such a waste of time. It just kills potential. It kills happiness. It's so stupid.
Sounds like we're moving backwards recently, but
Yeah, we are.
we're slipping down the slope again.
I don't know. It'll get better. It'll eventually turn. It sucks. But okay, I have prevailed. So anyway, he's basically saying, so this is what we got. So this is the real business he's there to talk about. He goes into some detail about this slave ship that we know at the East India Trading
So
Company
they were
was
supposed
involved.
to research the ship, the Influence, but he refers to it as the Cornwallis. And he said the name was changed on July 5th because it was loaded with a cargo of slaves, which at the time was strictly illegal.
Yeah.
So essentially what he's saying is that there was business dealings done for personal profit that were illicitly done by people high up in the rankings of the East India Company, who then tried to cover up their actions by setting the ship back a sail, marked as being completely empty, but with a skeleton crew, which caused it to not have the wherewithal to sail properly, in which case it crashed and sunk.
But when they crashed it, they ordered the hold
Nailed shut.
lockdown,
Yes.
so that to kill everybody
Yeah,
inside.
we find that out later.
Oh, that's later. Yeah, you're right. That is later. So so that's basically the extent of this scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. So, here he is on the set of Mordor.
Set of Mordor.
What does that look like to me? That looks like what's that movie with the guy that eats rocks and the snail that moves really fast?
The Never-Ending Story.
Yeah, Never-Ending Story. It looks like he's about to talk to a fucking kid with a big dog that flies or something. But no, he's undressing and he's getting into another one of his goofy. Boy, this guy's talk about being a bad boy. I mean, really. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. You can you sell it anymore? Tom Hardy. He goes into the water. See this? This is the face. It looked like this. I'm glad I got a shot of it. He looked down and it kind of looked like his mother was in the reflection. It's a water reflection. It's hard to tell.
One of the foreshadowings was that we hear crows cawing when he's going into the water, and you always see his mother dressed in like a crow dress with crows cawing in the water. So this is essentially a parallel between her and him, and we know he's going here to commune with her.
And she's always standing in waist-high water too, so it's kind of and here's disembodied laughter.
Yeah, it's his Walkman on the shore.
Yeah, it's a couple of teen girls, learning what it's like being okay. All right, so then he dives. What the fuck?
He dubsteps.
He dabs.
Dabs.
Yeah, he dabs. He dips. He dops. He puts his hand up on his hip. He dips. He dip. And he puts his face in the water. I thought it was kind of cool that his necklace preceded his face.
I thought it was some kind of insect at first.
Yeah,
okay.
Like a weird snake crawling around. And then face, and then we get this whole moment here.
It's the first time he's really washed himself the entire season.
True. This is the first bath he's had in 100 years, or 10 years. So he gets sucked under. Wow, it gets real crazy. All of a sudden, he gets pulled in. Do you think something grabbed him? What is it? A physical hand that grabbed him? Is it a force? Is it an elemental?
I think it is. I think it's a force.
A force. I agree. And then he pulled in, and we got a little scary mom
And
mouth.
presumably, this is the same view he had of her when she was trying to drown him.
We could,
as a baby.
One might think, yeah, there she is, and there's the baby face. I mean, obviously, this is a defining trauma of his life. It's definitely deeply penetrated his psyche. They keep showing it. Obviously, it's nice to get a little explanation about what's going on with this lady in the water, though. I mean, I guess there's that. And then he comes up, and that's what I look like after I've been bathed. Yep. I hate taking a bath. I'm like one of those dogs that gets upset. So yeah, he's a little shaken, And then he spots this little kid. I didn't get his face, but that's
yeah.
Robert. And Robert runs off, but he doesn't seem to sweat it too much. Nothing phases him. He takes everything as it is, man. He just rolls. And so off he goes. He's got a weird neck tattoo, too, which we'll see plenty of that
And
later.
this is why he started saying drain the swamp after.
Drain the swamp. Yeah. Eventually. Probably not for a long, long time. And then there's the house. That's his place, right?
Yes, that is Delaney Manor.
Delaney Manor with his sister.
Not his sister.
Stepwife.
His stepmother.
Stepmother.
Stepwife.
Yes, and she is Lorna Bowe. I like Lorna Bowe.
Yeah.
James, I gotta say I'm a fan of anybody who's got I don't know. She's human and female. So
is that all it takes?
That's and smaller than me. I know that's a little, smaller than I'm big. I'm 6'3". I couldn't handle a girl who's 6'4". I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm a little old school. It'll be a little hard for me to deal with. I don't know why I'm talking about that. Okay, so she's worried about him though. She's looking. She hasn't been around. She's
for 2 days.
2 days. It's been gone, and Dr. Bryan Cranston here doesn't worry too much about it.
Yeah, he says that he had words with him, family matters.
We had words. That's why I grew out me sideburns and shaved me head. And that's why it's actually Velcro.
Yeah, he said one of my favorite lines. He said something like, he won't be dead and he won't be happy. You can depend on that.
Yeah.
That's why he's not worried about him.
Yeah, he's like, whatever. He'll be upset. It's always going to be stressful no matter what. And so she's like going to go looking for him. She's basically going to like track down his known locations and associates.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to check with his sister. I mean, she would be the only other person that he would contact, presumably.
Yeah, or the hooker. I think she said she's going to go to the brothel. Mm-hmm. So, cut to a cool old ship. Oh, wow, man, look at all those ropes. Man, I haven't seen that many ropes since I went to the movie theater. Yeah. Get it, James? Super ropes. Yeah. Look it up. Indistinct conversation. Man, you really had to know how to tie knots and tie up shit and climb around. I bet they had really calloused hands back then.
Of course, yeah.
Not like these soft. Yours and my hands. We have the texture of oysters. All right, so hello, I'm British. Blah, 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 blah. So this is like life on the docks, the boats, and they're loading up shit in boats and whatever. Look at that little hammer. Did you notice how
tiny rock hammer?
Yeah, this is Andy Dufresne. That's a rock hammer. Andy Dufresne. That's my Morgan Freeman.
I'm going to start calling him Chester.
This guy?
That's easier for me.
Who's Chester? Chester?
No, go forward. Him.
Why Chester?
Because I have a hard time saying...
Oh, Chichester.
Yeah, I can't... For some reason, my mouth won't say that. So I'm going to call him Chester.
Try it.
No, that's all right.
Say Chip.
It's quite all right.
Say Chip.
Look, he's got a...
Can you say Chip?
Chip.
Can you say Chip Chip?
Chip Chip.
Can you say Chip Chester?
Pip Pip Cheerio.
Fuck you. Pip Pip Cheerio. James, knock it off. We're serious. This is a serious analysis show here, okay,
yeah,
buddy?
So he is going to Delaney's offices on the docks.
Yes. Although this scene was just him going, and then he's not there, and then that's it. They didn't even get
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. But what's he looking... So he wants... Why is he going to Delaney, though?
He might know something... Because my theory about this is that the ship that sank... The slave ship in which the place was nailed shut that we find out a little bit later. Yeah. I think James was on that ship because we know in the very beginning James was having visions of the ship sinking, of hands going through bars trying to get out. And we know that he was presumed dead in a shipwreck himself.
Yeah.
So I think that if there was any survivors, he was perhaps the lone survivor. And I think this guy somehow knows that James is connected to it and would have information that could aid him. Plus he knows that his enemy is the East India Company, and he knows that James is not an ally of the East India Company. So if there's any information that he can glean from anyone, it would be Mr. Delaney.
Good. Well said. I agree. He would be a material witness to this whole thing, and he would help his case. So, okay. So now back to evil. What's his fucking guy from Game of Thrones?
Stuart Strange.
Stuart Strange. So someone's explaining to him 280 slaves and shit.
Yeah, his two goons are giving updates on their discussions with Chester.
Yeah, who they called the Blackamoor. Yeah, I gotta assume that's not. That's like a disparaging.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone's gonna. I mean,
they didn't go
not
out of the
anymore.
Way. It wasn't the point of the scene, but it did. I did notice that too. The captain ordered that the cargo hold be nailed shut. So this is where we learn about this. The slaves would all go down the ship, leaving no evidence of the illicit cargo. And he asked about your brother. Okay, so now it kind of involves him a little personally.
Yeah, it got really silent when he said that.
Yeah, and he's always tapping. We'll see even more.
Tapping.
Yeah, he stops tapping. But that's the one thing with this guy. I like that they do that. I like when characters have small little idiosyncrasies.
Quirks.
Indeed. Just like James's consistent quirk of always apologizing for being alive.
Sorry about that.
I didn't expect that. All right, look at this globe. That's pretty cool. Man, they just got all kinds of antiques. This is before they were antiques. When they were new. Mm-hmm. I don't know. How the fuck do you make an antique? It's got to be new at some point.
Yeah.
Wow, my mind just went...
Like, this IKEA desk right here is going to be worth a fortune in 100 years.
This shitty IKEA desk I have. I've drilled holes in this thing to mount monitors and stuff. Man, I could go for some weed right now, James. Okay, so the king is safe. He's basically saying...
No, what he's saying is he's equating all the players in this whole scenario to pieces on a chessboard.
Yeah. The Pyrenees is their queen. He says there's a couple others in there that I missed. Something. Look at this elephant dragging a big block.
So one thing we should mention that when they talked about his brother, they said his brother had like a sugar plantation in Antigua.
Yeah.
And we know that the slave, I believe in the prior episode, they referenced the slave trade as the ships going to Antigua to pick up slaves and so forth. So we know his brother probably had something involved in there, and they're barking up the right tree, and he knows it.
Right. But he also is putting the pieces together here, and he's sort of confidently saying it's time we move some pieces.
Yeah, he's being attacked, and finally he's going to go on the counterattack. Right. So he's like, I've got my plan. It's time for me to start doing something.
Yeah, rich old bastards always have another move up their dirty old sleeves. So then we cut to that's Ibitin. Ibits.
Yes.
No S. Ibitin.
They just call him Mr. Ribbits.
Mr. Ribbits. Thank you. This is the guy. A little too much. There's the magician. He's back there. The chemist, I
back
should say.
at Chipotle.
Yeah, this is them mixing up those guacamole pits. Everybody's stirring, but they're getting tired. This was an interesting, kind of funny scene. The bald guy in the middle there, he starts falling asleep. This guy's kind of doing it like a zombie. He's sort of back and forth. And the kid notices he's asleep. Like, if they stop stirring, this stuff could explode.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty unsafe work environment. They're all pretty exhausted, it looks like. But the kid calls him out, and, Mr. Chumley. And he goes, change of God! And it's like, wow, that's really your scheduling, is just to wait for it to almost happen? Yeah. Why don't you just do it on like a 3 or 4 hour shift or something? Come on,
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, set a timer on your iPhone.
Yeah, jeez.
But, Siri, set my timer for explosion time.
Siri, set my sundial to 3 hours. But what if it's cloudy? Fuck off, Siri! So there's more dudes, and this is all kind of gross, smelly men stirring up a bunch of gunpowder, so... God, this fumes must be awful there. These people all get dementia and brain damage by the time they're in their 25s. So there's the guy, and he's kind of watching, not sure, he's sort of, I don't think he's too thrilled with what's happening in his house
and
these days.
some reason, they're singing a White Stripes song.
Which song was that?
Go back.
Is that a White Stripes song?
Yes.
Oh, well, what do I look like? I'm cool? Why would I know that? Get out of here. Jack White, right?
I don't know if it was the White Stripes or it was Jack White singing it.
Oh.
He has two different bands.
He's White Stripes.
He has the Raconteurs, which maybe it was, I think it was a Raconteur song.
I didn't know you knew anything about music.
I have a radio in my car.
You've been hiding all this cool stuff from me. Next thing you know, I'm going to find out your car works. All right, so there's back to the house. I like how she's dressed. I like that she's wearing a big, weird, dark goose on her head, and that's kind of cool. But that's Lorna Bow on her way investigating. She goes to, this is the home of the very unhappy couple.
Yes.
Oh, God. Distant barking. That's what it sounds like in my brain at all times. So she's just calling upon this house.
Zilpha.
Zilpha Geary.
Giri.
And she's waiting, and of course this piece of shit wanders in. He's a mess. He's a lunatic. Oh, by the way, I think we'll see this later here too, but they got this kooky, like, gargoyle-y demon monkey statue thing. But these guys are trouble, and he's just a big piece of shit douchebag. So, you thought he'd be out of business? Well, I have no business. That's what's going on with me.
And what kind of fabric do you think that dress is? Because it looks incredibly hot.
Velvet.
And by hot, I don't mean attractive.
I think she's well,
I mean, she is, yeah, but the dress itself looks like it would not be good in warm weather.
Let me back up a little, James. She's obviously matching it to her hair.
Ah.
That's the style. That's how all women dress. That's why blondes wear yellow dresses and brunettes wear brown dresses. And I should have said blondes dress up like bananas. That would have been funnier. I gotta see. I don't always say the most perfect thing. All right, so yeah, there's that weird monkey thing standing there.
Puppy monkey baby.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, so she's kind of doesn't really want to deal with this guy. He's sort of an intense fuckface, and she's like, "Oh, I was just looking for the lady. I just want to talk to her."
He antagonizes her, saying, "Well, why would she know where he is?"
Yeah.
Goes, well, because she's his sister,
and
she answers logically.
Yeah, and he's like, "Do you read the Encyclopedia Britannica?"
Yeah, he's drunk.
Because I do. Yeah, he's drunk. He's an asshole. And he says there's rumors, all kinds of rumors about him and about you, and even like implicates her in one of the rumors, right? I don't know if I got a shot of that. There's
an actress that he keeps locked down in the basement who enjoys walking with a man with flesh in his teeth. Right. It's bullcrap.
With this cannibal, because they all call him a cannibal, as if that's a bad thing. So, you can even buy a song about Delaney. What does buy a song mean?
Well, I mean, you go down to like a person in the alleyway and you pay them a few coins and they'll
Shekels?
sing it. No.
Really?
They're not, like passing off mixtapes or anything.
Hello, sir. I'd like to sing you a song for 1 shilling. Like that kind of buying. That's absurd. Essentially, it's like wow,
It's like a bard.
A verbal poster.
Poem. Yeah, I mean, it's like, they call it the Pig of Pall Mall, and then they start...
Oh, yeah, and I got all that, too. Actually, I'll return when you're sober. That's a nice dig. So it can only be about Delaney. And then she comes by. Oh, man. Jeez.
And it's fairly obvious she's been the victim of some violence.
Yes.
There's no hiding that.
Yes, and she's kind of got this shell-shocked expression. She doesn't really react much.
But because Geary is in the room, they can't really talk freely.
Right. He dominates it all. And
Yeah, as a bug-eyed...
It's not fun. I mean, you shouldn't be laughing. Lorna, he's been gone 2 days. So she says she's worried about her, but she just kind of lines up and says exactly what her husband wants to hear.
Yeah, she doesn't want to provoke him because she's got her own long game.
Yeah, and he's an abusive piece of shit. So,
And she is such... I mean, you don't pop your collar like that. Just, come on.
Unless it's pink.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, now here's the Pall Mall thing.
Can you go back one?
Yes.
Her collar's up and go, now it's down.
Oh, you're talking about this corner here?
Yeah.
Right there?
Continuity.
And then right there. Well, maybe she moved her head side to side and pushed it down a little bit. Yeah, okay. So I don't know why I'm obsessed with this. Was he holding an olive? Looks like he might have an olive.
Be a date.
Could be a date. I could go for a date. And this is the poem. I think I got all the screenshots for this. Tis in Pall Mall. Is Pall Mall a location? That's a cigarette, isn't it?
No, it's a mall.
Yeah.
It's where Macy's is.
It's a dark, dreary mall. Paul? Isn't that a Paul? No,
there's a Paul Blart who works in a mall.
Yeah,
He's a mall
true.
cop.
That's true. And
he looks like a pig, kind of.
This is the prequel to James and the Giant Pig.
Yeah.
Which could be, hey, James, you're James.
Yeah.
That doth this mall adorn. I don't know what any of those words mean other than that and this.
I think they spelled acorn wrong.
Adorn. Well, adorn is something, clothing.
I know.
I'm so dumb.
We're not really this dumb.
So, well, I kind of am. I mean, I'll admit when I'm dumb. That's my, not that you don't. I mean, you are.
I'm often dumb, but I know what this means.
You do? What does this mean?
That doth this mall adorn? It's saying a pig lives there that doth this mall adorn.
What does that doth the small adorn mean?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
Of course.
He has a double-sided lightsaber.
Yeah.
Do you really know what that means?
No, I know what the gist of the whole poem means. I don't know what that particular line means.
I know what the gist of everything means, James. The gist of everything is we all suffer and then we die.
If we know what mall meant, we would be okay.
This mall.
And it's clear it's capitalized. It's a pronoun. It's referring to a specific name or place.
Yeah. So anyway, it's not too important of a detail anyway. But so fat, so plump. So monstrous big. So a big fat pig in the mall. Fire and air were born. Does that mean it had a real messy shit?
Yes.
That's what I would assume. One of those ones where you're like, ooh, that had to hurt. Oh, boy. One of those. I almost
about to do it.
I almost blew into both my hands. You know that old fun thing you do when you're with your nephews? The pig's so sweet, so full of meat, he's the one I wish to kill. My fowls resign, and then she finishes it, which is a good move.
Which shows that she's a person of the streets. She's been around. She knows.
Well, she goes out and she hangs out with
actors
and actresses and stuff. So, I mean, I've been around a bunch of actors and actresses, and they are a partying bunch.
Yeah, and she does this to a certain effect, where she finishes it and says, you know what, this is a very common thing. It was around long before Mr. Delaney returned to the shores of London.
Yeah.
This is not about him. This existed before him.
Yeah, but you're just twisting it around, you pieces of crap. What are you doing? And she's like, okay.
And then Geary says, no, these are alternative facts. You need to leave me alone. Sit down.
You are the press is the enemy, or the verbal poems. So His Majesty's government, I want to know where he, so he's saying like, no, everybody's looking for this guy. Why don't you just calm down about it all? They're basically saying you're dealing with somebody who is in, maybe you shouldn't try to get close to this fellow, because everybody's after him.
You know how I know I've been playing too many video games recently? I'm just wondering where the key is to that drawer.
Right here?
I wonder what's in there.
What's that lock?
I want to loot that.
Yeah, no kidding. I've also been watching a little too much Antiques Roadshow, because I really want to find out the value of this necklace.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So that's that. Yeah. So it's not a real pleasant visit, unfortunately. So they basically kick her out, and she's like,
so Zilpha is like you said, Zilpha's siding with her husband right now, just playing it low.
Yeah.
and tells her that she needs to leave. And she says, well, even do me the courtesy of calling me a carriage. And they're like, no.
Yeah. What is that? So calling a carriage, we didn't know what that
I'm
meant.
assuming it's something where they send one of their servants out down the road or something to hearken a carriage to come.
So there's obviously some sort of Uber Lyft service. Like you hire a driver, you hire a car, a limo.
Yeah, someone will go through the inconvenience of waiting on the roadside to flag down something for them.
Right. So obviously there's some kind of communication, but they don't have electricity. Right, no. We're not in even the early days. That's Downton Abbey. If you want to watch the early days of electricity, it's funny because like the old people are like, "Oh, like you've never seen something so horrid as electricity." I don't know if that's even part of the show, but yeah. So I don't know what calling a carriage means. Maybe they release a crow and it sends a raven. But anyway, she immediately just sort of like a ghost hovers away and goes into her door and disappears. So that's sort of a sad house. Everything there is fucked up. Cholera. Yes. Speaking of being fucked up. Shit is bad. Now we're back at the Die guy, the American spy dude who has an American accent. And he says, hello, James Delaney. What's his name? Dumbarton. Speaking of dumb, broad convenience has actually begun. So he's saying, look, 6 people have died of cholera.
Isn't it a coincidence that we created this false outbreak of cholera and now it's being lent legitimacy because people recently have died of cholera?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a good I like the dialogue in this scene here, actually. It's as if the disease
this line in particular is not
miasma.
Yeah, but by false rumor. They're false rumor.
I drive a Subaru, James, but I wish I drove a Mazda miasma. That'd be pretty fun.
My sister had a Mazda Miata.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, great story.
Yep, it was amazing.
So
crappy.
Mine's an 04. 2 out of 4 speakers still work. It is a hot thing. No AC, so it's great in the winter. Or patriot, yeah. So they says like, or religion or patriotism. They're talking about false rumors being. So they do a little philosophizing. It's a good time. Haha, you have no God. Blah blah blah. So then he goes, but I do have powder. He's talking about the DVD for Powder.
Yes.
Great movie. I really relate to it because it's about a bald, pale guy who nobody understands.
Yes.
James,
I like that movie as well.
Anything else to say about the scene?
No, but he basically, like you said, he says that he has the powder and he'll deliver it tomorrow at midnight.
Yeah, midnight, and yeah. Oh, look. He's got glass around the candles. Nowhere else to have this kind of... You need this protection if you're a flag factory.
Yeah, he's a fabric dude and he makes dyes and stuff.
But there's so much... We always notice how many torches and candles, especially candles, in the show. It seems like everything's about to burn down at any given moment.
Well, he's American, so he's smarter. I take that back.
James,
that was a bad joke.
That's not true at all.
No,
have you ever met a British person?
Yeah, Americans are by far the dumber ones.
Yeah, yes. Not all of them, but we're horrible to each other most of the time.
Can you imagine if we had to vote on everything?
It's bad enough that we vote on our own issues, because look what we did. We fucked it all up. It is going bad. God damn. I just say, sharpen your flashlights, everybody. The apocalypse is on its way. But I'm saying, like, glass seems like a good way to keep the flames off the flammable material. I wish everybody else had learned that lesson. So, okay, back in, this is kind of a nice little scene, even though, she's just taking a bath here. And
she's got a bowl of cornflakes beside her.
Big bowl of cornflakes. Yeah. That looks pretty good. She's got a weird bust head. That's a boy, a man, maybe a boy.
So is that a pipe going to the ceiling that's filling with water? Because I would imagine if that's the case, then that's a pretty opulent thing that one would have at that point in time.
If these are made to be, if it's how you fill up the tub, yeah. Where do you think it drains? Must be some sort of pipe down to the
I think you
floor.
have to drink it afterwards.
Yeah. You don't drink it, you just use your mouth to go.
Yeah. Yes.
Spit it out the window. That's why there's lots of nice...
but yeah, she's relaxing in the tub, and Geary is banging on the door, calling her name.
Door banging, Zilpha. Boy.
And she is in no hurry.
Zilpha!
She takes her time.
She does. She takes her time, and she's not in a big rush. But she answers it. He's all excited. Australia! I swear it! I applied. I got a job with the emissions. I'll be an assessor. I like that. Like, so he's in the upper crusty class, but he's kind of on the down and outs. They do live in a big mansion. But they needed the money. That's the big tension between him, and Keziah was they needed that money, and so they need this job. That's why he's drinking. That's why he's home.
Yeah, I mean, he sees this as a golden opportunity to reinvent himself, his life, and somewhat apologizes for his behavior over the past couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, but it's an abusive apology. Like that's the cycle of abuse. Is that like recovery, then the violence. Then
it's a pseudo apology.
Yeah,
it's basically we can forget about all the tension that's been going on lately. We have a new beginning. We're going to go to Australia.
It's not a position where women don't like to be grabbed by the back of the neck and then yelled at. They should forgive you.
Well, her ear is actually in her collarbone.
What are you saying?
That's why he speaks to her in that.
Oh, that's what he's talking about here. Yeah. What if his tongue came out? Went. I don't know why I said that. Come on now, and he's like, yeah, it's like we're just fighting. It's been rough now, but we're gonna get better.
Fighting like children. And here she is with a split lip and a busted eye, and she's looking at him as though we have been fighting. You're the one who's been hitting me.
Yeah. She's like, fuck you, dude.
And she shuts him down, saying Australia is too far.
Right, it's too far. Won't do it. Please leave. And so then he leaves, and I wish she climbed back into the tub with her dress still on, or with that jacket or whatever she's wearing. That'd be kind of funny. Okay, so cut to. Oh, poor guy. That's a dead man. He got turned into gunpowder. Yeah. No, this is the gunpowder factory using coffins as boxes, which is a good idea.
So the problem that always existed was they need to make gunpowder. They need to deliver it to the Americans. But how do you transport it from your secret factory to the Americans for delivery?
Yeah.
Answer is in caskets.
Caskets. And luckily, there's a cholera outbreak that's not real. That's happening out around, although maybe a little bit real. Or was the 6 bodies made up? Was that all plants? Just so they could...
Well, I think that 6 people did die, and that was in the news. So they're basically saying that these are the 6 people who died, and using that story as a legitimate cover for the moving of the 6 bodies.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
And I love the way he talks about this thing, like, have the greatest respect for the inhabitant of this coffin. Yeah. Referring to, as the gunpowder.
He says the cholate is still in there. It's just sleeping. Yeah, it was interesting.
Given to explosive.
He sort of speaks about it with reverence.
He does, and it's witty. I like it.
It had a witty and a morose quality to it that really fit with the whole show and everything.
And as you mentioned before, the chlorate is still in there. Yeah. So we know even though the gunpowder is complete, it's still volatile.
Right. It's not as stable as, I guess, the other gunpowder. Which I guess you put it on it, does it get better over time? You're going to put it on a boat and a bunch of sailors and a bunch it's going to get split up. But hey, once it's out of their hands, it's gone. Like when I sell lemonade, but it turned out to be bleach. Sorry, mayor of fucking town, permit my ass. So what if I'm in my 30s trying to start up a lemonade stand? Grunts, and so he nails the cholera thing to the thing, and
that's how they're going to prevent people from questioning them through the fear of cholera.
Good move. I like this. Mm-hmm. I would do that.
I would put like a big sign saying warning dysentery.
Yeah. Now when I go to the park and I want to be kept away, I want people to leave me alone, I'll just put a cholera sign on my chest. And then I'll put one that says dysentery on my back. Kick me, I'm dysentery. I don't know what that means.
So he confronts Robert.
Yeah. You saw something at the pond. What did you see, boy? I'll intimidate you until you talk.
He says nothing, and then he says...
Yeah. I suggest you continue to see nothing. He's not really interested in fathering the child at all. Yeah. Like I used to see my dad communing with his dead mother in the pond.
And what would the kid have seen?
Yeah, like just the guy
his head just went underwater.
Yeah. I saw you having a fucked up bath, you weirdo. Take off your shirt, you kook. So then this guy's there. He's observing. He's not really participating. It's not. I think he's a little overwhelmed, maybe.
Yeah, and it's important to note. Actually, the thing I'm going to mention is going to happen in a second, so I won't note it just
save it for a sec. Okay. So they put on their bandanas, and I guess that's to protect you from cholera and to protect their IDs. Him and his gang, and they all kind of head off. They got a big delivery here.
So finally, they're out of his hair. He's alone.
This guy here.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's finally got them gone. It's got to be some sense of relief to know that your whole house isn't going to blow up.
Yeah, but I think that he resents James Delaney in the sense that he's putting the little boy's life at risk. And even though he's been kind of a harsh figure, he's been taking care of the little boy for years now.
Yeah. He's got to have some concern and care for him, even if he's an old, weird, rural guy. So really mood-lit street, nice moon, some braziers lighting the way, keeping the hands warm. But here they come. Here comes the horse carriage of doom with fake cholera victims that are actually even more deadly, giant boxes of gunpowder. But it's some soldiers, sort of a checkpoint guys. These guys, hey, hello, what's that? And so they're like, oh shit, things start to get pretty tense here. A policeman, that's the word. Mm-hmm. There's the boy looking on. He's paying attention. These guys, even their Mountie. What do they call British cops? British cops?
Bobbies.
Bobbies. That's the word. Bobbies. They still wear the kooky big weird hats.
Yeah.
boy, man, humans are the strangest animals, aren't they? James Hendon, he's like, where are these from? Okay, let's get through this one quick, because not that much happens, but we will get to the end of it.
Yeah, so we're saying that we're transporting, a family of 6 died from cholera on the outskirts of town. They've been dead for quite a while. Now we're transporting their bodies under cover of night so as not to arouse suspicion and fear of the public.
Yeah. He goes, oh yeah, well, let's take a look at it all. And so he goes and he goes, torch.
And he says, I wouldn't do that because he takes the torch, and torch and gunpowder makes a big boom.
Yeah.
But you pointed this out. I didn't see him do this, but Robert kind of scurries away shortly before this.
It's one of those shots back there.
And they just so happened to mention that the family of 6 included one young boy. So Robert actually conceals himself in the coffin, which luckily is the one they choose to open, and he's already playing dead inside.
Yeah, so he opens it. I think I have, it's this one. I didn't get a shot of it. Damn it. Boy, I really screwed up there, James. But yeah, he sees the kid, and it would have been game over had he either used the torch to blow up everything because of the gunpowder, maybe not realizing it was gunpowder, or even if he didn't blow it up and he just saw what looked like gunpowder, he would have probably messed things up. They were getting ready to kill him, though. They were like, he made a look at his guy. He's like, the little guy. He's like, yeah, get ready to do some fighting here.
Yeah, so they basically pass him along and say, okay, get out of here quick, because they don't want to catch cholera.
Yeah.
And Chumley looks at says to the little boy, quick thinking, good work, boy.
Good work, boy.
Well, I mean, Chumley says that.
Do you have a dead mom who you can go to the creek and swim with? So there's the symbol, though. Someone took the time to carve it into the thing. Yep. So, always good move when you're a criminal conspiracy is to leave etchings into the wall.
Well, those were his save points. His checkpoints.
That's got
he reloads there when he dies.
All the save data. Documents / Taboo / episode chapter 4. Okay. All right. So there you go. Oh boy. He seems to be thinking things through here. This is not a good sign.
Yeah,
though. He looks like he's having second thoughts.
We wouldn't be seeing all these little shots of him alone questioning things if he wasn't about to do something.
Right.
And in a previous scene, I think we missed the screenshot of this before they left for the gunpowder and they were stirring it and so forth. He says, "May God have mercy on us," or something like that.
Yeah, he does say something like that. Like, "Oh my God, what are we doing? This is crazy." So yeah, there they go. This is finally their meeting with the Americans, and the guy gets out. They're still. He's still doing that thing. That's Dumbarton right there. But they're still doing this thing where...
Oh, and one thing he does, he actually does the Catholic cross of himself.
Oh,
when he sees the bird sign on the wall.
Iberton. Oh, the guy back a little while. Yeah. The magician guy was still doing... saying funny shit, though, wasn't he? I don't know.
Well, he's going to say, he says, "Careful not to wake the dead as they reach their final resting place."
Yes, that's right. I don't have a screenshot of it, but that's right. Man, James, you got great notes. Yeah. It's so great.
So, and this is James reminding Dumbarton and says, "Okay, I've fulfilled my end of the bargain, and now you just need to remember that I get safe passage through the American blockade now."
Yeah, and he threatens him. He says, "If this doesn't work out, I know where you live," or something.
Yeah, he says, "If my factory is discovered, I know where to find you."
Yeah, so I'll come kill. I will take the glass off your candles, and you will burn to the ground.
Because if you remember, the reason he had to produce the gunpowder so quickly was because this man, Dumbarton, revealed to James that he knew not only the name of his chemist, but the location of his factory.
Yeah.
And he was holding that over his head, saying, "Do what I want, or else I'll reveal the location of your place."
Right. Right.
So he's saying, "Okay, now that I've done what I've done, you better keep your end of the deal."
Is this the scene where he says one of the most rarest things of here? Oh yeah, I will tell Miss Manson I made an extraordinary discovery. A British man who keeps his word, or something.
No,
like
a man in London who can be relied upon,
there
or something like that.
yours was pretty much right. Mine was just like a version of that. So then we got this guy. Where is he? What's he doing there? I don't know. He's drinking.
So James is finally coming home. He's been missing for 3 days now.
Wait a minute. That's hold on.
Well, okay, this happened. We do see the Everton again.
Yeah. It's real dark here on our screen. We'll lighten it up in the editing, but and then so he's rushing away to do something. Okay. Commercial, and then back at home.
James returns home.
James's house. They really didn't go out of their way to make it all light. Like, this is like nighttime.
Yeah.
I mean, most films, they'll even shoot in the daylight and do things to the editing and color correction to make it look dark. Or they'll like blue it all up. Nighttime is usually just like really blue in a lot of shows.
Typically what we do is put 2 redstone torches on either side of the door.
Minecraft references.
Hey,
woo!
Look at that.
Thanks for high-fiving me, James. I didn't even have to ask you. Okay, so now she's sitting. They didn't do a lot of internet back then because their Wi-Fi was spotty, and he's playing with his fire. She's got a book, but she seems to be lost in thoughts. She's been a little stressed out.
Now she has a book though. Do you think that's the book that
Secrets?
Yes, that Chumley sent to her in the post.
Oh, I wonder. Maybe she will get into that Chumley guy. I like to woo women by sending them books.
Yeah.
I send them. My favorite book is Moby Dick, and I like to send pictures of it. I send them Moby Dick pics. So there's the door shuts, and there's so meaning they hear him. He comes wandering, and he just like not wandering.
Starts shaking his boot off.
Yeah, but he just sits down like, "Ooh, I've had a long day."
I mean, he's been gone for 3 days. They've been worried about him, but
Yeah.
it is his house. I mean, he can kind of do what he wants.
Lumberg is driving me crazy.
You smell like cow poo. Well, actually, it's horse poo.
Yeah, it's horse shit. So he takes off his boots. He has to shake him off, and the guy's helping him. It must be nice to have a servant. I shake my feet for hours hoping someone comes and helps me take them off. Nobody ever does. Not even James. And oh look, they already got snacks out. That's nice, man. Reminds me of the feel. This guy, it really does feel like my grandma's house, but with a little less light. So I don't know what he said.
She said, we were almost gone for good. We would have left for good. And he goes, and would that be good?
Yeah.
To leave would be good? 3 days and not a word.
He's like, I don't know, what the fuck? I'm not supposed to tell you guys what I'm up to, and making threats, and they're going to sell Gunpowder. Who are the Republicans?
I guess an opposing political party in London, where she's talking about rumors going around that he's going to use gunpowder to sow the seeds of discontent to start a revolution.
Yeah.
He starts saying that if the Prince Regent actually believed that I was going to do a revolution, I'd be hanging by now, or I'd be in the Tower of London.
Right.
So she's basically warning him what's going to happen if the Crown and the company resolve the disputes. They'll come together and crush you between them. But before all this, she even says that she went to Zilpha and spoke to Zilpha looking for him.
Yeah.
And that's all he hears as she goes to this whole Crown and Prince Regent speech.
Yeah.
And he just looks at her and says, what did my sister say?
Yes, and that's the end of the scene, though. But we assume that she's probably going to mention the cuts and the bruised face.
Yeah, she doesn't there, but... Yeah.
We don't see it, but one would assume that's the case. Now, I would have predicted, though, we stopped it, I would have assumed that she would have said that, and then he would have gone and taken matters into his own hands in some way, which may or may not be the case. I don't want to spoil anything, but I was wrong. That's not what happened. All right, so now we got to find out what happens real quick here. Now, that sleeping Geary, he's probably passed out from drinking all day because she reaches in. Now, we saw her earlier pull this thing out.
Yeah, and we didn't know what it was.
No, we thought our best guess was some sort of knitting needle, but it turns out...
Yeah, I Googled it, and it turns out it is a hat pin.
A hat pin? What is a hat pin?
Apparently, back in the day, women would put hats on, ball their hair up, stick it into the top of the hat, and stick a sword through it to hold it in place.
Yeah. Well, not women only, but men with hair bundled up can be tight. You can put stuff in it. Like when I had hair, that's how I used to store my pencils, and my wallet. So you just stab your hat, and it locks your hat onto your head, which I guess makes sense. That seems pretty rational.
You would think after doing it for a while, your hat would get kind of ragged, though.
Yeah, unless they have a hat pin hole that's made for it. But that also has to be snug enough into the hat too, for it to work. You ever see women go to the whatchamacallit, where the dogs race and the horses race, the dog race track,
Yes.
the horse race track? They wear kooky hats. It's just like a fun thing.
Now, is that for dog racing, or is that the Kentucky Derby? Because I know
the Kentucky Derby is kind of
famous for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And British royal weddings. Holy crap.
Yeah, and it's out of control. It's like, it's fucking Hunger Games over there.
Is Hunger Games meets like a weird Dr. Seuss episode?
Well, that's what gives the Hunger Games, like, when you first see in Hunger Games the nutty dress, the men and the women, but the women look like clowns. And, but that's like, oh yeah, that actually would totally makes sense. Like, they used to, the men in this era used to wear mops on their heads, so there's those fucking wool wigs. They were wigs. It's so weird. Human behavior is so strange. It's all about in-group, out-group, peer group, status proofing, whether or not you fit in and not. That's really all it comes down to. But it evolves slowly over time.
Who would be the first person to wear one of those powdered wigs? And who would say, that looks good, I shall carry on this?
Yeah.
It's like, how did that get to be a thing?
Yeah, I know. Like, oh, I like what that guy's up to. It probably started with real hair from old men, and then they were like, oh, well, now we got to earn respect. I don't know. It's hard to... It's summarizing it, especially when you're two ignorant rubes who have no idea what they're talking about, never sounds as... The real story takes more time than that. Well, I don't know. Now I'm just fucking rambling. But the hat pin... Anyway, so she's holding a long needle, basically.
Okay, and before we go any further, the last time we saw her pick this up, she could hear a voice.
Yeah.
And it said, show me, guide me. And she didn't hear a voice, but we heard her whispering that as if she was speaking to someone.
Okay.
And that becomes important a little bit later on.
Real soon, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so floor creaking.
She's trying to be quiet here.
Yeah, right. So she stepped on, but she sort of climbs up, and she's very determined, and she starts to lift up her shirt. We all kind of figure out what's going on, she's going to pierce his nipples.
Yeah, so she doesn't want this to be botched. She is feeling for his heartbeat. She wants to make sure it's targeted, and I think she even wants to make sure that he's awake and aware when she does it.
I don't know. I mean, all he has to do is recoil or like lash out at her, and like I thought it was odd that she would lift up his shirt. You'd think she would position herself, without touching him, because that pin can penetrate the shirt.
Right, but I think she wants to be absolutely certain it's a kill shot.
Did they not have anatomy? I mean, why does touching make the heartbeat more accurate? You can't feel a heartbeat.
You absolutely can.
You can feel a pulse at certain parts of the body, but just putting your hand over someone's chest, the heart is making the whole thing feels like a heart if you just touch someone's chest. I used to be on a date with I touched a couple of chests. Now the only days these chests I touch are in video games. Opening chests, James, not like weird sexy games. I don't do those games. I haven't played Leisure Suit Larry 7 in a long time. But anyway, I think it's risky to lift up a shirt. I think people would agree with me because I'm right. But then it happens pretty fast. Like I was a little surprised. She kind of gets in there and all of a sudden just pushes down. She doesn't reach back. She doesn't do like a Pulp Fiction aim for the heart, draw a Sharpie marker on his chest and stab him. She just kind of puts her weight into it and pushes down, and it goes right in. And he goes, "Ow, my heart! Good aim. You got it. You didn't just get my lung.
You found my crit spot." I use that one too often.
That's okay. It never gets tired. I mean, she nailed his crit spot right there, and we didn't see any crit blood come pouring out. But you probably would die from that.
Yeah, he immediately starts fumbling for a Phoenix Down.
Phoenix Down. What does that mean?
That is a Final Fantasy item that revives you after death.
How did you just drop that as if anybody knew what the fuck you were doing?
I guarantee anyone on a Final Fantasy forum would know what a Phoenix Down is.
Yeah. We're talking about Taboo, a TV show on a YouTube. Okay, we're not talking about Reddit.
You could have theorized that a phoenix being a flame bird that rebirths.
I know. All right.
What a nerd for not knowing that.
I agree. I'm a nerd. I got to start playing more Final Fantasy, which is about sexy teenagers.
It's
in
terrible
Japan.
lately, the latest one. But anywho,
you played the whole thing.
Yes, and I was not happy.
You're a kook. All right, so ow, my heart. Fuck. Shit.
But you see the look in her face.
Shut up, James. Fuck. Okay, where is it?
She looks like Gollum.
My file here. There it is. Ow, my heart. Yeah, she's like, whoa, this is fucked up.
So I was theorizing at this point.
She's alive finally. She's alive.
Yeah, but I was wondering.
She's fighting back. As Jennifer Lopez says, enough.
Yes. But because she seemed to be talking to someone the last time she almost did the same thing, and because she looks so crazed there, she almost looks like a person possessed. And because we know James Delaney does not like this guy, although he could have killed him during the duel if he really wanted to, it leads one to wonder if he is possessing her and driving her to do this, or if she is fully in control of herself.
Interesting. I like that theory. I kind of prefer the story that she's just a battered housewife who's finally fighting back.
Yeah.
But I don't think what you're saying is irrational, because that definitely could be.
And we do get an answer to that question later on.
Oh, I had no idea. It must have been when I was asleep. And then, okay, bang, 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 door banging. I could do some of that these days. So there he goes. I like that he's just wearing a shirt with no pants. I mean, it'd be weird if he was dressed. I mean, people take off their pants just like we do nowadays. Got the candle. He looks like Mr. Scrooge, or the old timey guy with the thing. And he goes in there, and there she is. But she's looking better. Like, she looks like alive, fine. Like, she doesn't have that shell shocked face. She's sort of excited in a way. She's like, "Hey, guess what I did?" She doesn't say anything.
And she doesn't have a parasol.
Doesn't have a parasol.
She really needed one.
Could have used one. Parasols are for sun, James, not for rain. Okay,
yeah,
get it straight.
But
we learned that the hard way.
It rarely rains in England.
Yeah, it's for keeping off fog. For keeping off tea and tears. So she goes and hugs him. This is an emotional thing, I guess. I think murdering somebody's got to probably up your heart rate a little bit.
But even though it says that she
sobs. I cry when I just think about my childhood, and this lady killed a guy.
But it's saying sobs right here, but she looks more exhilarated than anything immediately after this embrace.
Yeah. Well, and crying is...
It's like catharsis.
Cathartic,
a release.
It doesn't necessarily mean sad. It just means you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And you need a release. So, like, people cry when they're happy. It's just sort of like your body can't take it, and so it just has to, like, produce liquid out of your eyeballs.
Yeah, that makes
why
sense.
not?
So James says, "What have you done?"
She says, whispers, no, that's her. I was going to do his voice there. I killed him. No,
No, but she says something even more important. She says, "I killed him just like you said."
Oh, fuck, I missed that shot there. And he's like,
And that's his reaction to that. Because I don't think he told her to do anything.
Oh, I see.
Because a little bit later on, he says, "Where's the body?" She says, "In the bedroom. Are you sure he's dead?" Quite dead.
Yeah, we have that coming up here. But she kisses him. She's just kind of, I mean, she's entered, sure, her blood's pumping.
Yeah.
She's done a bunch of push-ups and she's ready to fuck. Not that I do push-ups before sex. That'd be weird. Are you sure he's dead? Quite dead.
Okay, here's the important part. James says, "When did I, and she stops him and says, "What?" And then he doesn't continue.
Here, that's right
He's basically saying, "When did I tell you to kill him?" He didn't. So she thinks he told her that. So was she hearing the voice of someone else telling her to do this? Was someone else influencing her?
Maybe
Was
her
it
mom.
perhaps? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Was it perhaps his mother?
Wait, is her mother? Who's her mother?
Her mother.
Wait, they share a father.
Yes, they don't.
But we don't know
share
who
a
her mother is.
I think her mother died.
Yeah, but it's not his mother.
No,
his
absolutely
mother's the crazy lady.
Yes,
who lives in the creek. Yeah.
There was no lady who lived in the creek.
So he actually tells her, like, okay, go home, I'll get rid of the body. But she's like, why were you sending me home? And he goes, because he says, he
says, you'll hang, but I'll get rid of the body.
So he's basically saying, you need to go, if you're not at home, they're going to assume you did it and you'll get killed.
Yeah, he's going to take care of everything.
Yeah. So he goes straight into, like, he never reacts, but he just takes action. He's like, I'll deal with it, and he walks out.
Very little phases him.
Yeah. So now we got a couple... Okay.
And again, I would put a bomb there.
Put a bomb where?
There's clearly a door there.
Oh, right here? To blow up the thing here?
There are rupees and boomerangs in there.
James is making Zelda references. I like it. Yeah, they're going to the St. Bart Simpson's hospital there. But these kooks are dressed up like crows. I love it. They're wearing these nutty masks that have bird beaks on them.
During the Black Plague, smallpox, all sorts of diseases and plagues in Europe across the centuries, people have worn that.
So that's a real thing.
Yes, absolutely.
That I think I've seen it too. So are there filters in there, or what they thought were filters?
I think they stuff it with stuff, like to act as a filter.
Cloth
I think like charcoal, cloth, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it didn't have our comprehension of chemistry, but man, that looks fucking scary.
It does, yeah.
Could you imagine, like, barely holding on to life? And that's the last
thing
you're on your deathbed, and one of these goons is like lurching around over you, surrounded by freak-faced crow monsters. Look at that. That's terrifying. They even give, like, the crow the air hole for the crow beak.
Well, much like crows, people have to breathe.
Well, I know crows and people breathe, James. Okay, I didn't assume birds don't breathe. All right, leprechauns don't breathe.
Well, that part's true.
Come on, think it through. But like, look at she's on top of everything. She's a nun. Like, she's already penguin-like. Man, that's so freaky. That is so
Cronon.
Cronon
the barbarian.
All right, so
the important part about this is that
this is the cover-up.
Yes, this is Geary's body in the cholera ward.
Yeah.
So they are basically presenting his death as a death from cholera.
Yeah. So this cholera is a convenient ruse. This thing is really paying off.
And if you go back a little bit, that sheet that she's pulling off, that's not his shirt, is it?
I don't think so.
Because it looks... No, okay, it's not. I was thinking that there was like a hole in it where the hat pin went in, but that's just the light shining through. But it is bloody because he was stabbed through the heart.
Yeah, or it's just they didn't wash anything back then.
Yeah, and that would be pretty large to be a shirt.
A bloody sheet was just like a clean sheet as far as they could fucking tell. These people were savages. All right, so... Then, there's the cholera notice. Yep. Let's just give it a little look. Has, therefore, with the concurrence. Okay, I can't handle that anymore.
That is how James dealt with that.
Speaking of little peepees.
You can get past this scene without mentioning the little peepee.
I started with the little... Who doesn't look at the little peepee? Come on, he's a little bronze peepee baby. I gotta say, I like a nude, anatomically correct statue. I think that's fine. We all have dicks and pussies. It's fine. We can deal with it. We're gonna be okay. I'm just glad that the little angel doesn't have a boner. That would be fucking weird. This is exactly the kind... James and I are roommates in an apartment. This is what our apartment looks like. We have the same place. It looks very similar, including the guards and the...
I stand on the stairs like that when you come down.
Yeah. He does this, James. And I tap him on the forehead with my cane. But look, this one has an instrument. Looks like a cello or a big bass. I played cello in 7th grade, James. That was pretty good.
I ate Jello in 7th grade.
Jello pudding bops! Good. That's exciting. Thanks for contributing to the conversation.
I know. That
No,
was
I'm joking.
exciting.
I go up. These tangents they're just nuts. So he's really excited. He's having to get. See, look, this is one of those kooky wigs that these guys got. Mm-hmm. It's all formality. It's all rank and stuff. So back into the thing. We've got some great news. He says a lost sheep returned to the fold, which is a funny way of phrasing. We found an informant, and we've got a something we didn't expect that we will help our situation here. And what it is a farmer. There is an S in there. I totally corrected James earlier.
Made me question myself.
James going, what is it? Sibbit. I go, no S's, James. There's no S's. Turns out there's a big fat S in there. Look at this lady here. What, is she dressed up like a fucking Cheeto? Get out of here. The candles aren't even straight. Outrageous. Okay, so they're always drinking, these people. Not a lot of water back then, though. No. They mostly just drank alcohol all the time. It was more sterile than water. So there they go, confess to the priest. So now he's kind of describes all the things that went on, that he allowed the devil into his life. And this morning the priest received his reward from the honorable. So there was a confession. Now, do you think the guy knew he was alerting the authorities, or that he just wanted to tell a priest because he trusted the priest?
Yeah, I think he wanted to just get the weight off his own chest, and the priest informed the East India Company.
Corrupt.
Yes, for a reward of 25 pounds.
Yes.
So
25 pounds.
Yeah. And they all start laughing and guffawing and go, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
So we
have Delaney's factory.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I wrote down har har har, and this is how my iPad did it. Hard hair.
hard hair. That's funny. All right, yeah. So they all go hop 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 hop. James, you do some of that. Hop 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 hop. Come on, do it. Hop 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 hop. Same time. Hop 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 hop. And they start slapping the table.
Yes.
And so,
actually, they do start. You're right. They do.
Yeah, they start pounding the table, but in like in a hop 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 kind of way. So that's how me and my friends have fun when we party. So, we sit around and watch Saved by the Bell, and we get drunk, and we go hop 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 hop.
So here's the part I don't get, though.
All right, this scene or next?
So this scene.
Okay.
Word does not travel quickly. So by the time they find out about this, you would think that the raid on the warehouse would have already happened.
Wait, who's they? These old guys?
Yes.
All right.
So at this point, Godfrey is the man inside who's taking the notes, the meeting notes.
This guy right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is in James's back pocket. He cares about what happens to James, and he now has information that James needs to know about. So he's wringing his hands, and as soon as the meeting's over, he rushes out to go and inform James.
Yeah. Well, you're saying that who wouldn't have had time to find out?
He has enough time to go and tell James that they know, to run down to James's house, let James know, and then James has enough time to take action to try and prevent catastrophe.
And you're saying that you think that they would have already moved on the factory before?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because why would they waste any time at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but they didn't have cars. They didn't have we're pretty good at rushing to an emergency. We got it all down.
Would you agree they have a head start, though?
Yeah, but I agree with you. I'm not trying to say that you're wrong at all, but I can see that there'd be like a delay, a little slow to a day or I mean, these people are used to communicate. They'd have conversations that took 2 weeks because a letter had to travel across the country or across the ocean. So like that sort of urgency, although it totally makes sense, but might not be there.
But think about the sense of urgency. They have a lot riding on this. They have been going after James Delaney for anything they can get their hands on for the longest time. They are men of extreme wealth and extreme capabilities.
Yeah.
You would think if anyone would be able to beat him to the punch, it would be these old men with information before he has it.
That's an excellent point. Very good point, Marcia Clark. No, I agree. Look at this lady. She's worried about getting cholera.
No.
Either that or she's afraid that her... Look, dirty. My God, people back then. Jeez. Get a laundry machine, you street urchin. Thank you. I was going to say gross. So yeah, now they go in there. He rushes in. Oh, Mr. James, Mr. Keziah. Oh, and he walks up as him and he goes, catastrophe. So he's actually sort of seems like emotionally invested too.
Yeah.
They have a history. They're friends. Yeah. They knew each other when they were younger. But instead of just being like a blackmail victim, he this kind of urgency in calling it a catastrophe means he actually kind of cares about this.
And this is the first James hears about it, and yet he remains cool as a cucumber.
Cool as a frozen cucumber. Cool. He's as cool as a glass dildo. Sorry, I know I said that. Sorry, kids, if anybody under 18 is watching this, don't Google the word glass dildo. James, no, you are betrayed. And James goes, go home. You shouldn't be here. Go. Oh, I said it in the wrong order. And then he's just like, okay, I have another problem to solve. I like that. I need to be more like this guy. I let my fucking crazy brain catastrophize and freak out all the time. And I just shut down. He's just like, all right, well, we're going to have to go take some action. So I think we could all learn a lesson. Be more like Tom Hardy pretending to be a fictional character in 1804. Hurry up. Come on. Keep moving. So now he rushes off. And he goes to the factory. So this is they beat him to the punch. That James is you, James. James, hiya! That's
yes,
you.
okay.
Wanted her shifted. I don't know what that means. So, yeah.
So he's going back. He's meeting with the chemist and the men that he's employed to produce the gunpowder.
Yeah.
The chemist, Chumley, mentions that what remains in the factory is still unstable and it will explode if they try and mess with it. What's been moved already was ready to be moved. What remains in the factory was not ready to be moved. So he says that they need to, they're planning on getting it out of there before they can be raided.
Yes.
And he informs him that the informant is taken care of, puts the tongue of Ibbotson in his hand,
yes,
and says something about the talking is done. No excuses, the talking is done.
Yeah. That is I thought it was a heart for a second, but it was a tongue. It's smaller for a heart. But yeah, that's a tongue. Tongues are weird. I know I've said this before, but they're the fucking craziest muscle. They don't even get old. You ever meet an old person? Their tongue is like it's like an 18-year-old tongue. And it's crazy.
I was about to say, isn't it funny that he also had time to go and cut the guy's tongue out before getting there? Then I remembered, oh yeah, he lives next door.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean next door?
The man.
Oh, he lives in this place right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course he had time.
That's right. Yeah, he would have had time. And if you do it quickly enough, he can't scream because he got no tongue. Yep. Actually, he probably makes noises. I bet it sounds like gurgle.
I would assume that he probably killed him before he cut the tongue out. Oh, actually, no. He would have cut the tongue out first out of vengeance.
Well, but I mean, just the smart move is to kill him and then take the tongue.
Yeah.
Because you ever try to put your hand in a man's mouth, they'll bite you.
Yes.
And even though we are not as strong as our gorilla brothers, they can. A human mouth can still fuck up a human hand.
Here's a sense of urgency. I'm down to 5% battery life on my notes.
Do you want to plug it in?
Nah.
Come on, plug it in.
It adds more of a sense of urgency.
What are you, the bad boy of charging your iPhone? Get out of here. Plug that shit in, okay? Here, we got some cables. I got a long one. Doesn't even work anymore. Okay.
It's going to set my iPad ablaze.
Yeah, it's going to blow up. All right.
It has chlorate in it.
Yeah. When it's Amazon Basics, the fucking things last about 3 weeks. Okay, so, all right, tongue is gross. It's a big, and he goes, Jesus Christ, get fucking nuts, man.
I mean, this is a guy that eats crap, and yet he's even kind of shaken by this.
He's a professional shit eater.
Oh, I wanted to mention to you, too, someone made a comment on one of our videos, made a good point, asking that they were surprised that we didn't make any sort of references to the effects of eating saltpeter.
Oh, like what it does to your body, like the poisonous part of it?
Yeah, and I Googled a couple things, and it said that one of the rumors as to what it does is it reduces and destroys your carnal urges. But they said it's a myth, that actually isn't what it does. I mean, it'll poison you and everything like that, but it doesn't have that effect, which was long rumored to be an effect of saltpeter.
Of saltpeter. Just makes you less horny.
Yes.
Is that ever a thing that's the only effect? It feels like that could be like your libido might go away, but it sort of would be one of many side effects usually.
Yes.
Hello, doctor. Yes, I'm too horny. Give me one of those libido-killing drugs. Saltpeter. Okay, I'll cut off your balls. Yeah, no, I get it. Why would we know about that, though?
Well, yeah, maybe it was like a common thing, but
yeah,
for a man like him who... he's probably eaten a lot of it. It doesn't seem to affect him in that way.
Sure. And, I mean, if you have,
Well, maybe there's another side effect I didn't find out about. I'm actually curious about that.
These people were exposed to all kinds of nutty chemicals all throughout history before we actually understood chemistry. And he even said something in one of the scenes in one of the previous episodes, like, considering all the chemicals I've eaten or something like that. Yeah, so... And the first thing he does with the little boy as sort of his first moment as an apprentice.
Teaches him, I mean,
start eating it and start tasting it. It's like, oh, geez, man. Good thing he's not a urologist. All right, so this is the priest.
The priest.
Look at that thick Bible. Look about it. I bet it's got big type because he's old.
It's a pop-up Bible.
I could say all kinds of horrible things about that. Okay, I won't, though. Out of respect. And so he gets in there, he sits down, he goes, oh, you again, huh? What do you got? You got something else to tell me, bitch? No. So who went and did he have one of his goons deliver the body?
I would assume he did because he would not have had time to do that.
Definitely would not have had time for all that. But yeah, his tongue's gone, I guess. Huh? That's fucked up. That's no good. Nobody likes that. Ouch. Jeez. That hurts. So he's dead. The priest finds him. and then they show him. That's a scary thing. That's fun. That's crazy.
It would be great if he had like the priest had a scarf on that still had like a 25-pound price tag hanging off of it.
Yeah, it's like just a fancy hat. But it says like Chicago Bulls. That's hilarious. James, I'm starting to think you're funnier than me, and honestly, it's a little upsetting. I really think you might be. God damn it! Fuck. Yeah, that's an intense time. That's bad. So clop 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 clop. Horses running, and that is a cool shot of the guy with the booby hat. What do they call these guys? Bobbies. And running. Now they're finally getting to the place. They just barely get there, not in enough time, and because it's already been. They got Soldier 1. I like that they just had the script. Must be somewhere. Looking. Keep looking.
It's a fancy horse blanket.
It is. He's a college athletics team. I don't know any college athletes that, I was trying.
Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers. Thank you. It had to be something. They're my favorite college team. So
that's not a college team, is it?
Yes, of course it is.
They're college?
No, I'm trying to provoke people to correct us in the comments. Yeah, no. I grew up in Chicago. I know about the fucking Green Bay Packers. All right.
I just found out about him last week.
Fuck Brett Favre. He was terrible in There's Something About Mary. I hated his acting. Piece of shit.
So they are transporting the remaining unstable gunpowder.
Couple things. I like that they're using an alternate means of transportation. I also like that, remember he said something about on like rickety roads or something. Mm-hmm. Well, nothing less rickety of a road than a water.
Yeah, and nothing safer than burning lanterns next to your gunpowder.
To your unstable gunpowder.
Yes.
And the little kid, I like his arms across too. He's like, all right, come on, keep rowing. But cool old bolts, but they really got a logistical challenge here. These guys know how to organize, and you gotta give them credit for that. So there they go into the tunnel, and light at the end. That's what we all see before we die. And who's at the end of it? Our dumb families. You know that uncle that likes to yell about Rush Limbaugh? He's waiting for you when you die. Right. Look forward to it, everybody. There he goes. Okay, that's a cool shot actually. I like that.
It is. It's like thumbnail material right there.
Thumbnail material. I don't know. I have varying and mixed feelings about my thumbnail theories. Sometimes I think I nail it, sometimes I don't.
About thumbnails? For The Walking Dead, I had gotten into a big discussion with someone about it. One particular screenshot of the entire episode, and it's the one you picked as the thumbnail.
Oh, which one? The most recent one?
Because when Rick is, I don't want to get into The Walking Dead too much in this, but there's a point where Rick is surveying an area with his gun drawn, yet his finger is not on the trigger. Oh. So I asked someone who knows a heck of a lot more about that kind of stuff than I do, and he said, yes, that is a very tactical thing. You do not put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to pull it.
Yeah, anybody who has any training with guns knows you don't touch the trigger unless you intend to.
But if you're in the zombie apocalypse, I would think that maybe that rule will go out the door, but no. He's a policeman. He's
well, now we're talking about The Walking Dead, but let me just say, during then, bullets are even more rare. You got to choose your shots wisely. Also, Rick can run and shoot, and he never misses. So, okay, anyway, Walking Dead, it's in the description. Check it out, everybody. So, back to some fancy rich boy with his whiskey and his different colored whiskeys, and unless he's just drinking, egg dye.
That's strange.
That's Stuart Strange, right?
Yes.
Yes. I'm thinking. He's tapping something too. I remember there was.
And like you said, he's always tapping.
Always tapping something. I wish I was always tapping. I'm so lonely these days. So there he goes. He chugs and he's pissed off. He yells at the guy who's in here. That's the one dude. One of his goons.
So what I'm worried about in this scene is something. Well, actually, we'll get to a little bit later. But He says that somehow he got to the punch before we did. Yeah. Somehow he knew that we were coming.
Yes. And that's
so their suspicions have to be at high alert now.
Right.
Which makes me worried about Godfrey.
Yeah, well, it would make sense that they would try to figure out who the mole is.
Yeah.
And it's not Anderson Cooper.
No.
That's a reference to the TV show that everybody
sees. And it's Voyello.
Voyello. That's another joke that about the young pope, which we completely abandoned because I got lazy and depressed and I couldn't do the animation. It was too much.
He has a giant mole on his face for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, he has a piece of chocolate. Looks like he has a Hershey Kiss stuck to his fucking face. It's horrifying. All right, so keep going into other shows. No wonder these things take an hour and a half. That's on me. That's all right. One. I'm not blaming you. So, all right, now we got a lady getting dressed, and she's doing a thing, and she's putting on. The camera pans up, tilts up, and it is John Stewart's wife. Yeah. No, John Snow, Rob Stark's wife.
Yeah. Talk about going into other shows.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But one thing I want to mention. Yeah, one thing I want to mention in the prior scene. Stuart Strange says.
Back a little. Okay, there you go.
He says we will allow him to think he is one step ahead while we exploit what is undefended.
There you go. What does that mean?
We'll find out.
Oh, I mean,
he's talking about a boat.
Oh, a boat. Oh, yeah. So there's other ways they could hurt him, is what they're saying, and they know what. All right, so they're not out of options, is what he's saying right there. All right, so lady's getting dressed, choker, putting on the funeral veil, black clothing, black dress, black jewelry. She's all into it. She's got to pretend
shoes, black hat,
black hat,
coat,
black crows,
Cadillac,
black holes.
the boys of Tom Bomb.
The what is that? Another music
Black
reference?
shoes, black coat, black hat, Cadillac.
Is that a? Is that
I think I'm getting the words wrong, but yes, it's a song.
I barely know music. I listen to dubstep. All right, so this is a great moment, though.
Yeah.
This is her helper, dressing up lady or whatever they call them, housemaid probably, and she hands her a pin, a long pin.
Not just any pin.
Yeah, are we sure it's the same pin?
It has to be.
Yeah, well,
for the symbolic nature of it has to be.
Yeah, it has to be the same pin. So she stabs herself in the head, and right through her hair, and man. That's how you lock it down. I like that they showed her using it. That was great. That was a really
Can you
good
imagine if
touch.
it was a cone head trying to do that?
Ow, my cone. My hat pin has gone through my cone head. My bony forehead.
Do you think anyone today remembers who the cone heads are? Probably
Yes, everybody's as old and weird as you and me.
Okay.
Of course. Dan Aykroyd, that one lady. All right. Yes, great movie. Oui, absolument. Je parle français. All right. I'm such a fucking dork. So birds cawing. Caw, caw. Now we have, look at these things. These are crazy bushes. Wow.
I mean, that takes maintenance.
That takes, and ladders.
Yeah.
My God. So they're digging, we're in some sort of cemetery.
I think they used like drones back then to cut them.
We wish. So here we go. They're digging a hole. They're making a spot for a body.
Yeah, and you notice that everyone at the funeral, not everyone, but most of the people at the funeral have those big filter masks on.
Yeah, we'll get to that real quick. But why did James walks up, Keziah, and he takes over and he starts digging what the fuck was this all about?
It could mean one of two things. One is that it was going too slowly and that people were afraid of digging the hole for fear of being near the body because they didn't want to catch cholera. Or two, because James wanted to speed up the process because he really wanted to go and bang his sister. He was like, let's get it on, come on.
Hurry up! I don't have all day!
I wouldn't be surprised if he just starts like, beep, beep, and the backhoe comes in. He's like,
I've been hard since I woke up at 4 a.m. to go talk to my mom in the creek.
I travel through time to get this.
He uses his boner to help clear the dirt. Or maybe there's some sort of like voodoo ritual thingy going on. No, voodoo's not the right word, but some sort of connection to the spirit
Maybe,
thing. That he's
I don't
got
know.
That where like it's sort of an insult to the guy if he does the great.
Or maybe he's doing it out of like some strange sign of respect because maybe he's like
a defeated enemy.
He's like, I hated you, but I did not wish harm upon you.
Yeah,
because he could have killed him at the duel.
Totally. Yeah, and
So
he knows he was violent to his sister, who he obviously cares for. But yeah, so then they coming out and there's some booze there. Maybe he's just drunk. This guy likes his alcohol. Why not? It could be just fucked up. I've done dumber shit when I've been fucked up. So
he just happened to be digging a hole. He's like, oh, good thing they're here.
Good thing it's the same height and as the guy's body.
Wouldn't you have taken off his hat though and his coat?
Yeah, because he'd bend over and his hat would hit the edge of the thing, and then his hat would fall down and get dirty. Boink. Or use his hat as a bucket.
And his coat, the jacket's not even dirty.
You think when he has to take a shit in like an emergency, he just flips this thing over and treats it like a garbage can, like when I used to have an office
Well,
job?
that's what he puts in the bottle.
Yeah, and it's I Dream of Genie in there, and the poop lands on her face. But it shrinks down, so it's not that bad.
Exactly,
It scales down because it's magic.
And again, his jacket is perfectly clean.
Perfectly clean. Although, you'd get dirty clean.
Even climbing out of the hole, it would get dirty.
Right. That jacket is billowy. So anyway, we could worry about that later.
Okay.
I like this lady's mask here.
Yeah, so is that Lorna? I can't really tell, but
It
she
does
is
have a
apparently
Lorna look. I
yeah,
don't
she's
think
protected
so.
from cholera by holding something about 3 inches in front of her face.
That's shaped like a human face. It doesn't look. I don't think Lorna would go to
Yeah,
this.
the priest is protected with a scowl.
Yeah, a frown keeps away the cholera.
And the veil, of course,
Plus
is a
he's
filter.
got God. And then she's got Jamie Lannister black gloves on for some reason. No, but she's doing the bereaved wife move, which is what you should do since she's the murderer. She doesn't want to get caught. Yeah. He's standing off in the distance.
That's not ominous at all.
This is what every graveyard in England has one of these, though. This
Yeah.
is just standard English culture.
The only thing he's not doing is holding up a sign saying, "We bang now, okay?"
I like how he loses his grammar. That's how horny he is. Bang! Me bang you! You is just a U, though. It's not spelled.
Yeah, you bang me.
So, I like the coffin was cool. I thought that was really neat. It just had a kind of cool Tim Burton-esque looking
Yeah,
coffin.
he was a rich dude. I mean, he was a man of means, so
Yeah,
of course his coffin is...
enough to get a grave. A lot of poor people, they probably just threw in the river.
And we know he sold boat insurance, so I would assume he had life insurance, so that's probably how he got a good coffin.
Maybe, yeah, probably. good thick ropes, and there they go. Yeah, so the priest says some shit. This was a real quickie, though. They didn't waste a lot of time. He didn't seem to have other family around either. Everybody just left, and Lorna was standing there. Or not Lorna, Zilpha was standing there and doing her thing. She should be the last one to walk away. That sort of fits with the way you're supposed to be when you're pretending to be sad. And yeah, he is ready to go. That's me on prom night. I didn't go to prom. I stayed home and I just stared at the wall, horny as fuck. And she starts to rain and all kinds of coming together. She's looking pretty cute.
I really thought that they were just going to start banging in the grave.
Yeah, they climb in there. Nobody will see us in here. So speaking of banging, clop, 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 clop. Nope, he takes his fastest horse, which is his horse, his white horse. And he is in a hurry. He rushes off. James has already given away the plot here to this one. This was not much, although I don't think anybody was really surprised by what goes on now. Now that she is no longer married, I guess that's a pretty fast divorce, is when your husband's a corpse. He runs upstairs. He takes two at a time. He's normally pretty controlled pace.
He knows people are watching him too. You don't think this would cause some suspicion?
Well, she's maybe the housekeeper people think he's just a brother rushing to his sister's.
Yep.
She's probably sad. Of course, it would make sense. Oh, I've got to hurry up and get upstairs. I mean, every time somebody in my family's died, I went and I fucked my sister. I don't have a sister. That's such a... I saw James's face when I said that. I think I finally crossed the line. So no, but he does take the stairs two at a time, and he walks in, and she's like, oh, and he goes. First thing he says is, "Take off that dress."
Yes.
And he stands there. I would bet if you're a lady with a crush on him, and I have a man crush on him. I have a man crush on Tom Hardy. But I would bet women would be like, whoa, 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 here we go. Yep. Although it is incest and it is murder.
I wish he'd actually said what I wrote in my notes, which is...
James pointed at his iPad. Take that dress off. Incest time. Incest time. We have half of our DNA is identical. Let's introduce it to each other. But you know what, James? I mean, why not?
If each half of their DNA is identical...
Well,
is it possible they can clone themselves by banging?
No, and it's not actually identical. But it's shared, but it's not identical because of meiosis.
Yes.
So yeah,
recessive genes. I know.
Yeah. But it's you shouldn't be fucking your half sister. No. Third cousins. That's the rule. Third cousin, little weird, but all right. Well, I'll look the other way because you might not know. Yeah. So he is raring to go, man. And she's kind of into it too. I think they both are. This has been a long time coming. This has been a real long romance. Take that fucking dress off now. I'm going to try using this line. This line would work if you're already banging. If you're just sort of into each other. But this is not a good first sex move. And let me just give a little advice to the fellas out there. Go a little easy the first time. I'm meaning make sure everything's cool. Once you're established your rhythm and your consent and everything else is good, then you go, take off that fucking dress. Whoa!
You should use this exact screenshot as the profile picture in your OkCupid.
This is my OkCupid. Yeah. Fucking dress off now. I don't know. You know what? I'd rather just lift up the dress. That's a fun move too. That always feels like you've beat the system, like you've somehow solved the case. All right, so they fuck, and it is nice, and he has half swastikas on his back. They're not swastikas, but he's got these crazy angles on his back, and woohoo! Whoa! But of course,
adding insult to injury, this is Geary's bed.
Oh yeah, is that Geary's bed? Yeah. Yes. Look, that's her knee. Wow, she is up there. She was into it. I like it. And is that her wedding ring? She's still wearing it. That's okay too. This is all sin.
That's her Super Bowl ring.
Sin. It's her super. Yeah, she's actually Bill Belichick. Yeah. She puts on.
Take those sweatpants off now.
Take that hoodie off now. You look like a homeless person, you freak. But you know what? I applaud it. They wanted it a long time coming. Speaking of a long time coming.
Oh, that looks like fun. It's like when I twisted my foot today.
Yeah. I hope you didn't have an orgasm when you twisted your foot. James hurt his foot. He's limping around, and I hurt my back. We're both I'm wincing every time, and James is limping. So we look like a couple of weirdos that run a YouTube channel.
Wince and limp.
It's Wincy and Limpy. But anyways, they're fucking, and they're having a great time. He's got some scars. He's got the crazy tattoos. This is, if they weren't brother and sister, this would be really lovely, but it's still pretty fucked up. Man, sex faces are hilarious. I just gotta say, it's sex is funny. If you don't have a good laugh during sex, you're doing it wrong because it's weird and funny. Not that you shouldn't laugh the entire time.
What was maniacal laughter?
No, I'm saying occasionally. One time I was with Sugar and she fell off the bed because she didn't know where the edge was, and then I picked her up and we kept at it. So, but shit starts going haywire for him because his brain is all fucked up because he's a Looney Tunes, right? And so what does he see? He sees a woman killing a baby.
Yes, I know that baby is him. That's a pretty freaking scary image right there.
That is horrifying.
Look how big her hands are.
She's got huge...
She could palm a basketball.
Yeah, she could palm a baby. Man, that's horrifying, isn't it? But this is all, like, you don't... I mean, my mind will wander during sex, but never to that. Fuck, I mean, shit. And there they go, screaming. And so it's kind of flashing back to his childhood. We know about the history between his mother, and he's being dragged under, and he's scared, and it's all deeply embedded in his psyche. Man, this is a real weird scene, wasn't it, huh? Just looking for nipples here.
Yeah, so he starts kind of strangling her.
Yeah, well, she doesn't seem to mind. I mean, she's doing... There's a sexy way to choke somebody.
Not like that.
Well, I mean, he's not attacking her, though.
That looks like an attack to me.
Yeah, maybe it goes into that a little bit, but I know. I'm not saying you should. One time this one girl wanted me to choke her, and I was like, I'm really drunk. I can't choke you. It's not. I'll push you down. What? No, I mean, I'm not going to choke somebody. That's crazy. I'm not going to squeeze your neck.
I'll push you down.
No, I'll hold you. If you want me to pretend like I'm choking you, I'll do that. Like, I'll hold you down by your, like, near your neck. I'm not going to fucking squeeze your neck.
Is this normal?
Women are weird, dude.
Jesus.
I lived in Chicago for a long time.
You and I have had different experiences.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. No, it was an odd experience. I knew she was into it before that. I mean, it had come up in a conversation. She's like, she put my hand, she grabbed my wrist and just like she wanted me to choke her neck, and I was like, I'm not gonna fucking squeeze your neck. I'm just not gonna take that risk. It's crazy. But I'll hold you down if you want me to feel like you're being held down. Right? Was that weird? In lieu of choking her is what I'm saying. Is this nuts? James is making these faces like I'm a maniac. I think it's pretty normal. I was protective. I was like, I'm not going to risk you getting hurt.
She wanted me to bury her under the floorboards.
No.
I didn't feel like doing it. I did because she wanted me to.
I didn't say bury her under the floorboards. I was protective. I was like, I'm not going to risk hurting you. That was my thought. Even though I was really drunk, I was like, I'm not going to risk hurting you. Squeezing your neck? That's crazy. James, passion is okay, but also okay not murdering the person you're banging. It was bad, that whole situation. All right, so TMI, James. All right, TMI. Would you quit revealing so much?
Yeah.
Roar! Water mom monster.
Water mom.
And but it messes him up. It kills his boner. Well, maybe not, but it messes up his mood, and he sort of jumps off. He's a little freaked out about it all, and he's like, oh fuck, oh shush, I'm thinking about my mom trying to kill me as a baby. Can't keep banging. So that's the end of that scene. Mm-hmm. All right. So
think about how crappy this is for her, though. I mean, she just murdered her husband, went to the funeral, came back, and then she gets choked, and he runs off. Like, what a crappy day for her.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some women want you to choke them. I've had multiple conversations. There's an asphyxiation kink. It's weird. I don't have any interest in it because it's too close to messing with like risky stuff. Yeah. Nah. James has no idea what to tell me right now.
I feel like I should call the police.
What are you saying? No, why?
So this woman can get psychiatric help.
Oh, no, not that. Yeah, we don't. No, that's fine. No, it's not. It's more common, I think, than you realize. I don't know. Beats the fuck out of me, man. All right, so there you go. I don't know what that is. We're back at the thing.
I think this is where the gunpowder ended up.
Yeah, we have all the
unstable gunpowder.
Yes.
I would assume.
What?
I don't know.
It's a safe bet that this is all
Those
the
look like
gunpowder.
powder kegs to me.
Well, lots of stuff can fit in a barrel, but we're pretty sure it's the gunpowder, and we just hear this like shh, shh. What's he doing?
He's flicking a flint.
Yeah, which
produces a spark.
Not smart.
Which does not mix well with gunpowder.
I mean, come on, dude. So this is just. What is this? Is this symbolic? I mean, obviously, this is like, hey, you're playing with fire.
Yeah,
you're risking
literally.
everything.
Yeah, it's like
you're
he had
always,
a bad time.
Life is right on the edge for you.
Yeah, he's like the dog that finally caught the car and then
like
didn't know what to do with it.
You can't resist risking everything.
Now he wants it.
You're willing to take risks. You're living on the I don't know. I mean, there's sort of a pretty blunt symbology going on with all that stuff. Commercial break. Hey, everybody, buy laundry. And then. All right, boats and fucking shit. Just boats. So they're Oh, yeah, no, I did hit the right button. Okay, so these guys, I like that they're polishing it. That's kind of cool. I like a good underside of a boat. That's always fun. Grunts, we're at Newsies. Hey, you Suze, you want to buy a newspaper? Okay, we just got a dock scene going on there. That's kind of nutty. Oh yeah, this guy with the...
I love that hat.
I thought this was so interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't quite read into everything he was saying. I'm sure the words that he was using we'll see someone in some screenshots here, but I just love that the kids were around him. And
Yeah, he was like an entertainer for the kids.
Yeah, like do they tip him at some point or what?
know.
Or is it like kind of like a street performer? I mean, we still have those
He's
around.
Like the Pied Piper. They're following him everywhere.
Yeah, but what an interesting hat. I thought that was so interesting. I keep saying interesting. Look at that. Look at the kid's teeth. He's a poor little boy. He needs either less teeth or some fucking toothbrush, something. So they're all entertained and all into it. And let's see, who do we see? I don't know what that shot is there. That's somebody, a guy on a horse. I don't know. We're getting to the end here, everybody. I know you think he's like kind of singing, sort of dancing around. Yeah. So, oh yeah, this guy comes up and he stops Keziah and he says, "I want you to know, or I have a message for you. We're at war."
Well, a message from Sir Stuart Strange.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, fuck.
And he says something else that's a bit cliche.
It's war.
The gloves are off.
Oh, he puts a glove on and then takes it off.
Yeah.
It's off now. He says, if the gloves don't fit, we will blow up it. And so what happens? I know you think they saw him standing on the deck.
Don't fit. Bang your cyst.
Bang your cyst. That's even grosser than banging.
That's way grosser. I was thinking SIST as a short.
Oh, cyst? No.
Yeah. Bang your cyst. CYST.
Those are homophones.
Yes,
yeah.
thanks.
And,
don't want to do that.
Screenshot material? No, I don't know. Yeah, so then he sees and he
walks. Good shot, too.
Yeah, it could be. I like to get the top of that. Well, I don't know. Boom!
Yes.
Kabow!
So there's very little suspicion as to who did this. Immediately after being said, the gloves are off, we're at war, his boat explodes.
Yes. When an asshole drives off in a fancy limo and then your boat blows up.
Yeah, or when he goes, "You don't rule the day you crossed me," and then you see your tires are slashed, you'll be like, "Oh, gee, okay."
And that's trouble. So I thought that it might have been like his gunpowder blowing up, but that would make a much bigger explosion probably.
Yeah, and this scene right here is symbolic for what just happened between him and his sister.
Yeah, because he's going limp. And it splashes in the water just like him as a baby. Yeah.
Even Boatman's like, holy crap.
Oh shit. What if his boat blew up too?
On top of his head.
Oh, Boatman, we killed him. That would be horrible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like the hat though, man. I want one of those.
She kind of looks like the kid from Mask.
You mean the mask? The guy?
Not the green mask, but
Is
the
that
sheriff.
the movie where
sheriff
Mel Gibson
movie.
turns into an old man?
No.
With Elijah Wood?
No.
Oh, Mask is a whole different movie. Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. All right. So, yeah. So then he's
And there's
standing.
the U.S. Capitol behind him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a dome. This is a cool shot though. I thought this was real smoky and interesting.
This is when he starts to actually show signs that he is no longer complacent. He starts losing his cool after this. Because as you remember, one of the first things he did when he got into town was he went to an auction and he bought a boat. Having a boat has always been one of the most integral parts of his plan.
Yes.
He needs to get through that American blockade. He needs to get to where he needs to go, and without a boat, he can't do that.
Yeah, he's real hampered. That's just like having your, if you're a golfer, it's like having your caddy killed.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, when Sir Stuart Strange says, perhaps we shall hit him where he is undefended, that's what they meant.
That's what they meant. They could get to the dock. Yeah, they have a lot more resources than he does. And, so now we're at this is the, another brothel here where Godfrey hangs out.
Godfrey's brothel, yeah.
Yeah, I
Not,
like this.
he doesn't own it, but that's
No,
great.
he works
hangs
there.
out.
This is one of his side gigs.
Yeah.
His side hustle. Chase me faster. So everybody's here having a good time. This is a nice little boner fest going on.
Yeah,
in this town.
at least they seem happy.
Of course. Why wouldn't they be? They're all getting it on, man. They're getting silly and dressing up and having fun. This is what life's all about, not about this fucking sin.
But why is it that
Why is life supposed to be sinning and working? And no, you're supposed to go out there and party.
But why
Stick
is
it in
no
there.
one propositioning him, Tom Hardy, walking through that crap?
Oh, Tom, because he just walked in. You mean like, why aren't they approaching him and be like, hey, buddy, want to go living for a little winky
You would think
wink?
so. I mean,
Want to go hide the old ping pong paddle in the golf ball dispenser? I don't know what that means. But anyway, he goes right for it and just, he's swearing now. He's kind of like me.
yeah,
And
he's upset.
He's angry. He thinks Godfrey could have prevented this because this was information he should have been revealed. And Godfrey denies having heard anything, which I believe. I don't think Godfrey knew, right?
Right, and this is...
He's got his velociraptor knife there.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. Gosh.
Oh, no.
Go ahead, it's fine.
But this is what I think is happening, because they knew that there was a leak.
Yeah.
And then they started doing things outside of their normal meeting hall agenda.
Uh-huh.
So the fact that they were able to follow through on this plan tells us that they're trying to find out where the leak
Oh,
is.
yeah. So, like, they could know who wasn't involved.
Yeah. So they're starting to eliminate suspects, and that puts Godfrey in danger.
Wow. Let's all be grateful James isn't in charge of a powerful company, because he would be a vicious piece of shit. King of industry, wouldn't you, James? All right, so Godfrey just kind of like is like, oh no, what the fuck, man?
And he above all should know that Godfrey cares, because he rushed to tell him about the warehouse.
Yeah, but he's lashing out. He's got to go. He's got to rule out his different, options of what. And
he says something like, "Report, war has begun."
Yeah, it's war between me and a giant global corporation and the British Crown.
Yeah,
so he's pretty fucked.
This is 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's
I declare thumb war.
I've got hookers and a bunch of criminals. We'll be fine. So
speaking of thumb war, he did cut that dude's thumb off.
Yeah, that's right. So he walks in. Where is he going here? He goes and meets with this guy
Atticus.
here. Atticus, who is I like that he offers him mushrooms. He goes, mushrooms? What the hell is it? Did I miss it?
Miss what?
Oh, yeah, there it goes. Mushroom. It's funny. That's what he's eating. Your man did not heed my warning. Who's he? That's his own, one of Atticus's.
Yeah, when he said your man did not heed my warning, I didn't know what he meant at first, but we're finding out what that means. And what that means is that the man who was supposed to be guarding the ship was the man who had his thumb cut off by Delaney.
Yes.
Because he did not protect the ship, he's saying now, my warning of me cutting your thumb off.
And here he is. That's him on the right there, pressing his head up against. Because that's what I would do if my thumb was cut off. I'd just lean up against a stairs.
Probably makes what he's doing right now more difficult.
Yeah, it's hard to zip and aim. I think you'd be fine. I think you could use your fingers. PPs are pretty easy to grab hold of there, James. I don't know about you, but mine is real thin. So
what was that about TMI?
I don't know. It's fine. So then he distracts him, and then slice. Those are slice sound effects. And he kills him. He fucking just comes up and kills him with that expressionless face. This guy's a sociopath. And he just ends the guy. He basically fillets him open, guts him like a fish, and spreads him out.
But he also says before he does that, he says, I need a ship and to ensure that nobody else betrays me.
Right.
And then he approaches the man and kills him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and starts cutting even more when he's down.
He sold you out because you cut off his thumb. And so that's where we're like, whoa, that was the thumb guy.
So he's cutting out the guy's heart. And he says something really cool here about two possibilities.
Yeah.
He says possibility one.
There.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That he sold you out because you cut his thumb off, and that made him betray you.
Yeah, or...
Possibility two is that you knew he was going to betray you, so you cut his thumb off.
Right.
Which means you are a purveyor of witchcraft.
Witchcraft, yeah. He goes possibility one, reason. Possibility two, witchcraft. So, of course, I don't know the screenshots for it, but... Yeah, he doesn't even answer it. He's just like, bury it where it would not be.
And Atticus, for the first time, is shaken by him.
Atticus, yeah, that was interesting. Atticus is a real tough guy. I wouldn't fuck with Atticus. And then as he goes, good night, and he walks off, and Atticus goes, oh.
Doesn't he say, like, you can even keep the heart? Because he was cutting the guy's heart out.
Yes, he chopped out his heart, which I feel like that's kind of hard to do. You got to get through the rib cage.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's had practice.
Well, true, and he probably knows how to keep his knife sharp. But even then, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's not that hard. But I assume it can't be that easy to do. It's deep in there. It's in the center. All right, so he's like, oh, Jesus Christ, this guy scares the shit out of me. So this guy's quaking in his boots. This dude is terrifying. Speaking of terrifying, Helga, candles. This is another example of this place is ready to launch into flames. You got curtains, you got pillows, you got long hair, you got wig hair, you got real hair, you got fucking flammable old dusty walls, fur, charcoal, pot. What do you think she's smoking? Probably opium.
Probably.
Safe bet.
Safe bet. Yes.
Something else maybe, but yeah, probably opium. She's smoking chlorate. But the devil's here. Oh. And so that's the guy called the devil. God. He's drinking though. He's boozing it up. Yeah. This is the first of 3 bottles I think that we end up counting. So he's really boozing it, and I don't think that's beer. That's hard liquor, right?
It's a wine cooler.
It's a wine cooler. It's Capri Sun. She tells him to go to bed, go to sleep. I don't need sleep.
I need a ship.
He's really, maybe you fuck first, find it. She's saying, oh, how about bang somebody, then you worry about it tomorrow.
Take a captain upstairs, slit his throat, give me a ship.
Yeah.
All he cares about is getting a ship. He is very much shaken about losing his ship.
He doesn't have a lot of options here. I wonder how many diamonds he has left, too. Maybe he doesn't,
Oh, that's true.
Then you take him upstairs, you slit his throat, and I will take his ship. That's his plan.
That's a very good point.
I've thought it through. I'm drunk, you kill a guy, and I'll take his ship. What could go wrong?
Would it not have made more sense to wait until you absolutely needed the ship and then buy it so you don't have to guard it the whole time?
Yeah, probably. Maybe it's hard to find the opportunity to make the purchase, though. Maybe they're like Porsches. Yeah, so they're all like, oh boy, look at this guy. He's looking all fucking crazy.
So he's making a scene.
Yeah, he's being a drunk idiot. Oh, look at this guy. No eye.
No.
Must have pissed off the wrong Tom Hardy. Yeah, he starts like smashing stuff and like knocking crap off
and
tables.
he grabs a big flask, not a flask, but a bottle of booze off the table and says, mine. Something like that.
He's turned into Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
And but man, he's pissed. So he wanders down to the water because super drunk men and water is a great combination.
He's very much a fan of the foreshore.
The foreshore
and 7 years ago.
Yeah, nice one. And so he's staggering though. He's like he's lost his confident wrestler gait. He is just drunk as fuck, and he goes down to the water. This is so funny. He's just shit faced, just boozing, feeling sad. He's even lost the little boat. Remember before when he had the little boat?
And did he take his jacket off, or did he jump in full trench coat in the middle of the night in England?
Well, he throws the water in there.
He throws the booze in there.
Yeah, the empty bottle. I was wondering too, like in a production like this, did they go fish out the bottle or
probably
do they leave it?
I'm sure they fish it out. I mean, why not?
Because movie and film and TV productions, they tend to like not want to give any reason to piss off where their locations and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
I mean, they would not leave something like that in there.
They wouldn't just pollute and leave it there. Yeah, so he's feeling sad. I thought this shot was really telling. I don't know what it was. Even this guy's such a good actor. He can act with just his ear and his hair.
Yeah, I mean, if this was like an English class, what would they say? Water represents rebirth. It is blah 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 metaphor, the hero's journey.
Right.
But I think he just likes to.
He's just a drunk sad guy at the fucking beach, man, or the docks. Yeah, it's story as old as docks. So, then he gets into the water. We don't know what he's doing. Is he going to kill himself? Is he trying to talk to his mom? Does he want to find that little baby? But then Winter wanders up, and she's always sort of drawn to him and seems to turn up and go away. I'm busy.
So she's always asking questions and wondering about things. So is he really walking into a winter wonderland?
Ah, nice. Nicely done. Yeah.
I'm done.
No, I like that. James wrote that.
He's wading into a
James
winter
has been emailing me about that joke for weeks.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Been building it piece by piece.
So he tells her to leave. I'm busy. I like that. So she's sort of persistent.
Well, he says something. What does he say? He says, I'm not fit to be near you now, which is absolutely true.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not fit to be near you. Yeah, he kind of cares. I mean, that's protective even in his drunken state. But then she offers him something.
She says, did she just say I bought this for you or I brought this for you?
I thought she said brought you, but
yeah.
It could have been bought. That doesn't matter really. But so she's, gives him exactly what he was hoping for, a fresh bottle of booze.
Yeah, because that's what he needs.
This is number 3. So this is the last thing he should be drinking. He is done. He's fucking cooked. He's already wandering off into the water. But I don't think they took as many dare classes as we did these days. I don't think. Mm-hmm. And man, not that dare covered alcohol. So it fucking should. Alcohol kills a lot more people than pot. But yeah. So
he has another flashback.
Another flashback. He's kind of lost in his thinking. And this is the scary face, the muffled scream, and water splash splash. Oh boy. Yeah. Ooh, I'm hungover.
And this is me the morning after Halloween.
That's James after Halloween. That's Zach Galifianakis after The Hangover 5. Yeah, he is probably got a bad headache, sleeping in the mud, turning into a pig, and he slowly comes out of it, gets up, takes his time, looks around. What the fuck did I do last night? Oh man, where are my keys? Oh shit, my wife is gonna be mad at me. I missed my daughter's recital. Oh boy, I wish I wasn't a drunken fool. And he kind of staggers. He looks around. James, did you notice anything in the shot?
I did, but I thought it was just some guy asleep.
Yeah, same here.
I did not predict that was going to be who it was.
We're talking about this right there. Yeah, I didn't predict it at all. He kind of dusts off his hat because, you don't want to get it dirty. And then he spots something. He steps over. I like the way they approached this shot, though. They took their time. They took, it was slow, I guess. And then, oh no, what? Dead Winter. She's gutted.
So we see defensive wounds on her hand.
Yeah.
We can see it looks like she was stabbed in the upper chest and then slashed across the gut.
That seems like his move.
And can you tell if the neck is slashed? It kind of sort of looks like it, but I can't tell.
It. Hard to say.
So that's horrible.
Boy, you and I watch a lot of TV. Yes. Yeah, that's a sad sight.
And remember my theory about her being a ghost? Well, it's now confirmed.
She moves out of it and goes, I will show you the future.
And then he's going to teach her magic.
Yeah. the reappearing soul trick.
Yeah, I've got your thumb.
Yeah. Oh god, he fishes it out of the water. It's the other guy's thumb though. She puts the big fat white guy thumb on it. And yeah, so he's like, oh no, oh.
So the big elephant in the room, did he do this?
You know, it seems like it. The fact that they didn't show it makes me think that, and that he has enough enemies that would put something like this together and would want to frame him. Could be that he, you know, someone else did it. I certainly had the feeling. I mean, I thought he did it, but now that I'm thinking about it, there was a very effective misdirection. This is the final frame here, everybody. That's the black screen. So that's how it ends. We end with her death.
I think he's going to start dressing up as her and pretending to be her so Helga doesn't find out.
And just spy on John's at the brothel. Do you think he did it?
I don't think he did it.
Do you think he's being framed?
I do.
Yeah. The East India guys are motivated enough and evil enough to pull this.
And they're always watching him, so they knew he was wading through the water. They knew he was drunk, he was vulnerable, he was susceptible to something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I bet you're right. I did definitely think he did, just because it's like, but then I think I just fell for the misdirection, like I said. Yeah, that sucks though. I liked Winter. She seemed all right. She had a tough life, but she seemed like a good kid. That's a sad death. So this whole episode, I thought a ton happened. In this episode, we got the whole gunpowder thing. We got her Zilpha killing Geary, her husband. That was a big deal. We got him and her banging. That's been coming up for a long time. And then we get him, the ship losing his ship. That's a giant event. And then Winter dying is a huge event. I thought this was a very eventful episode.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, he really lost his ship. I was very careful to pronounce the P.
You did, yeah. That was the closest James has ever come to swearing. James, what's your favorite dog? Say Shih Tzu. See, that you could say that. That's not swearing.
But I don't like those.
Ugh, outrageous. Say shit Cocker Spaniel.
I don't like them either.
Fuck. Say fuckface German Shepherd.
I do like them.
All right, they're good. We had a fuckface German Shepherd and it ran away. And the thing was a nightmare. So anyway, did you like the episode?
I did. Yeah, I mean, usually watching these episodes, I really enjoy watching them. But it's one of those things where in the early episodes where we're just trying to figure out the names and the events and the characters and the motivations, it was a lot of work. But now I feel like we've hit a stride and it's getting much more interesting. It's getting easier to do. I like where the show is going.
Yeah, agreed. How many more episodes are there? 1?
84.
Oh no, 84.
You're going to air 5 a week.
Yes, great. That'll be 100 hours.
Because 84 is divisible by 5. I'm great at math.
Well done. All right. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I think that they haven't tapered off. Sometimes shows start out with a good premise and some good actors, but they don't really have it thought through. But I think like that we're in good hands. I feel confident about where this is going.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of other seasons this might be. Well, that's jumping ahead a bit. But so where do you think the season's going to end?
I think it's probably going to end with him getting a ship, getting through the blockade, and landing on Nootka Sound.
Really?
I think so.
I think I'm going the other way. I think he's desperate. He's a risk taker. I think he's going to do some sort of suicide mission. I don't know if he's going to die. I just think he's going to take incredible risks as he exacts revenge on all these. Because he's also, well, first I think with Winter, he's probably going to think he might have killed her too, because he doesn't know. He was so fucking drunk. He had 3 bottles of hard liquor. Like he might even think he did it because he is capable of drastic violence. So he's probably going to struggle with that, but then he's going to figure it out, and then he's going to go on a vengeance war.
So you think the entirety of this show is going to take place? It's going to start and end in London?
Yeah. Well, the show or the season?
Because we know I guess the season, because his motivations is clearly revenge.
Yeah. If he gets into Nootka Sound, well, maybe he'll get revenge and then go to Nootka Sound.
But he wants to leave. All he really wanted was to get there, get his sister, get his boat, get his dad's money and whatever and influence, and get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments? That's the worst way to say that. But let us know. How do you think the season is going to end? What's your predictions? Anything else to say, James?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, good. It's been a great 4 hours.
Has it been?
It feels like it sometimes.
This could not have been more than 16 minutes.
Yeah, we always aim for 45 minutes, but it always ends up being about 2 hours. Because of, well, anyway.
Speaking of Game of Thrones.
Go ahead.
No.
Yes, what would you like to say about it, Samwise Gamgee?
No, I was saying that's because we get off track.
Yeah, I know. I figured it out as soon as you started talking. I understand. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. We hope you're enjoying our videos here. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe, please. I'm saying please like a dummy. But we always appreciate anybody who supports our channel with those. Share it on Twitter or hit up James on Twitter, too, @VideoJamesSP. request other shows on Twitter. Hint, hint. If anybody wants, just hit up James directly, and it'll have more of an impact.
I'll try and tweet more.
I'm trying to guilt James into using Twitter, and I'm trying to manipulate him. Really,
I
honestly.
keep forgetting that Twitter exists.
You love Twitter. You will. You like Reddit. Twitter is like easier Reddit.
I'm very long-winded though.
I'm long-winded as shit.
Yeah.
That's all I do. But tweeting, it has a nice... There's lots of good little communities on there. You can get into whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't all have to be the weird, angry hate. You can find nudity. You can find video games.
On Twitter?
Of course, tons of nudity.
What?
It's
not
on,
moderated?
Everything's on... No, it's not moderated. It's all online.
Oh my god.
It's the Wild West out there. The Wild Wild tweet.
Why I never... No, okay.
Well, I never heard of nudity on the internet.
Someone think of the children?
I wouldn't suggest you use Twitter for nudity.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you can come across it if you look for it.
Okay.
Believe me, there's better sources. I got it. My own website is one of them. It's called hanksmobydickpics.com.
Glad you brought that back.
So, all right, everybody. Well, that's been it. We've had a great time. We hope you're enjoying this watch through. And sorry for being a little slow sometimes. It's life gets in the way. These take a lot of hours to make. So, James, I love you so much, but I don't expect you to love me back. For I will always remain a scorned woman who never hears what her heart desires, which is the love of a strong, handsome man with weird tattoos all over his neck. You guys can see James's tattoos. He looks like the first prisoner.
What?
Bye-bye, everybody!